on advertising.
The Chris and Amy Show is brought to you by Wainwright Retirement Counseling, because even legends need a game plan.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, hit it.
It's the Chris and Amy Show.
You know who it is.
Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
Now, Amy Marks-Kors, Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Hey, good morning, friends. It is a Tuesday. We hope you are doing well. Amy Marks-Kors, Chris Ranji. You heard the ladies say we're with you until 1 o'clock today. That means you're going to get 3 hours of nothing but fun, or mostly fun. The phone number to call us, 314-436-7900. And we are welcoming your voice messages on the Odyssey app. You know, that's where you can listen to us live, and you can listen to our podcast later. And you can listen to Cardinals baseball when the season is happening. There's a little microphone button. You tap it, record your message, send it to us, and you might get to hear it on the air.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everybody will be talking about.
The United Healthcare CEO shooter has been captured. He has been charged. More developments happening as the minutes go by.
And John Mozeliak confirms that the St. Louis Cardinals do indeed intend to trade Arenado, saying that a trade would be in the best interest of both sides.
And the Blues will take on the Canucks tonight. That will get started at 9 o'clock because it's out west. And again, we are broadcasting, or streaming rather, live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. Our account is at Chris Amy KMOX. You should be following us because you get all the updates and, you know, you get the lineups for the day. We are going to talk to Matt Pauley, who is at the winter meetings in Dallas. So we're going to check in with him in just a little bit because, as Amy mentioned, some pretty big news. I mean, we knew that Nolan Arenado was going to be traded, or they were going to try, but this is the first time we've heard them explicitly say it. Jason Kander, former Secretary of State in Missouri, was featured on 60 Minutes last week. So about 8-9 days ago, just a terrific piece about him and what he did to rescue a family from the Taliban in Afghanistan. Just really, really awesome stuff. Bernie Miklasz joins us. We have comedian and actor Anthony Anderson on the show as well. So there's a lot happening, and we're glad to have you with us. So I mentioned right off the top, Amy, the shooter of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. The shooter's name, Luigi Mangione, and he was caught at a Pennsylvania McDonald's yesterday. He was in there having a bite. He has been charged with second-degree murder. He has a couple of gun charges he is dealing with, a forgery charge that he is dealing with. But this has been a story that we have followed since the murder happened last week. But there's just so many different elements and tentacles and all kinds of things. It's not just a straight up murder. There are a lot of layers to this.
Yeah, a lot of layers. I know we touched on this last week, was some of the response online and by people who are very online.
Mostly by people who are very online.
And that's the big key, because most people aren't online. And so you do get a perverted view of public opinion when you are focusing only on online responses, specifically like Twitter. Now, there's the much maligned, controversial figure, Taylor Lorenz, who was like a reporter on, you know, modern online lifestyle for the Washington Post. So she was interviewed by Piers Morgan, and she said watching the video of the UHC, United Healthcare CEO, being murdered gave her a sense of joy. Because she's like, now we can have the conversation. And Piers Morgan was like, whoa, joy. And she kind of said, well, it's really the, you know, maybe not joy, but yeah, glad, because now we can talk about, you know, how he murdered millions of people, or hundreds of thousands of people, whatever number she gave. And so there's that side of it, which I will say I'm a little surprised, Ranj, by how willing people are to justify the murder of a CEO because of very, very valid issues against United Healthcare, which had some cruel practices. I am not dismissing that at all. I have people close to me who were denied life-saving medicine and lost their lives. So I get it. I mean, there are some really cruel practices, and I know these AI algorithms that would deny or grant coverage was very inaccurate, and apparently United Healthcare knew it was inaccurate and people were losing coverage. So I understand the complaints against the healthcare system. I'm a little surprised by the cavalier or nonchalant attitude people are taking towards the murder of this CEO. Even offline, and I say that because I was talking to some people offline, face to face. Like, one friend said, "Listen, Amy, I'm not a socialist. I'm not a crazy, socialist or leftist or whatever." But she was like, "I don't care. I don't care about this guy." So what, he died, and that was pretty surprising in some ways. In other ways, it's not, because I do think people have adopted this. If you have an injustice committed against you, you can rectify that by any means necessary. And I feel like that's a very concerning path that our country is starting to accept.
See, now, I don't think it's that. I don't think this is a slippery slope into that. What I think this is people recognizing that the insurance system that we have is not good, and that they themselves or people they care about have been denied care. And in those moments where somebody who's been denied care, and it's somebody that you love, whether it's you or somebody in your family or a friend, the question is, do you believe the CEO of that insurance company is losing an ounce of sleep over you?
Doesn't mean you can murder him.
No, two different things. And you're not saying that means you have permission to go kill him.
Mm-hmm.
What it is saying is, why should I feel bad for him if he very likely does not feel bad for my family, my friend, or me, who's lost coverage? Why should I have that feeling for him? Because I guarantee you he doesn't care. When he goes home to sleep at night, he probably sleeps like a baby, because what he is doing is tending to the most important constituency of his, and that is his shareholders, not the patients.
And that I understand. I get it. But I'm not seeing as much nuance as I would like. And again,
I think most people feel the way
what you
what
just
I just
described.
said.
And I do think that. I agree. I do think, right, they're not sad about it. Because they're like, he knew people were dying.
They're numbers
because
to
of
him.
Denied coverage.
People,
and they were
people
numbers
are numbers to him.
And I understand that. I think, too, the reason why I've heard people complain, well, why is this so high profile? People die on the street all the time. Why aren't they going after that person? Part of it is the institution. And I get it, right? It's a big company. However, the precedent that's being set is, okay, well, if you can start going after the CEOs or the presidents of institutions who are running these organizations because they're not running them in the way you want, and you can just commit murder, that's real Banana Republic type action. We have recourse in a democracy. And I'm not saying that we'd be able to fix the healthcare system right away. I get it. That's why I do agree. Probably most people feel the way you feel, which is, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. However, it's the same thing. You know how Wheeler will always say, well, the president's not any more important. He's just a guy. Well, but his office is important. And when assassination attempt on a president or a presidential candidate like Donald Trump is not only bad for that person as a human, it's bad for the country. It's bad for the institution. It's inherently destabilizing. So I think
that's the presidency. I don't think this guy's position in life is the same as the presidency.
It's not the same as the presidency. But what I am saying is, when you start to target heads of organizations and you start circumventing lawful recourse, it can be very destabilizing.
Of course, but I don't think we're there. I don't think that's what's going on. There might be very select few people who think, yeah, we should just go after all the CEOs and kill them. I don't think that's where the vast majority of the country is. I do believe it's more what I was thinking, that why should I feel bad about this person?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't believe
right.
I don't believe, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did every single night he went to bed. Maybe he had a difficult time falling asleep, knowing that there was some person, tens of thousands of people, that his company was denying care and probably died as a result. And maybe he did feel bad about it. But my guess is he did not.
I think you're right. Most people probably feel like, well, it's not right, but I'm not losing sleep. I
Right.
do wonder if there is going to be a
yeah.
younger group that kind of feels like we are the people by any means necessary. We're going to take this down.
That's Amy Marks Course. I'm Chris Ranji. When we come back, we're going to check in with Matt Pauley, who is live at the winter meetings in Dallas. And there is news on the Cardinals. Good stuff. Or is it? We'll talk to him next on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for Michael's Baths. You want a new bathroom for Christmas? Worried you can't get it done quickly? No worries at all. Michael's Baths remodels bathrooms all over the St. Louis region. Like Santa, no home is too far away. When you're ready to remodel your bathroom, call Mike and his team. Family owned and locally owned, always 30 to 50% lower than the competition, with 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ BBB rating. If you can hear my voice, they can come to your home. That's Michael's Baths, 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. This month, we are focusing on prostate cancer, and joining me is Dr. Vikas Prasad.
A treatment plan for you is very much dependent upon the stage in which your disease is diagnosed. So you really have to speak to your urologist or your oncologist to see whether the disease is primarily localized in the prostate.
Special thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details. Febreze.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
This year has flown by, and now you're planning to sell your home. Like you, most families have been waiting on the sidelines. Now the timing is better, but maybe you still have questions, right? This is Debbie Monterey for Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been telling you about Gloria Lou for years now because Gloria Lou is St. Louis's real estate expert. And if you have a home to sell, you need to get to know Gloria like I have. I've seen her systems, her guarantees. I've even met some of her clients. Gloria is different than any other realtor. If you need help selling for the most money, you need to call Gloria Lou. Here's another tip. If you have a home to sell in Crestwood, Shaw, Maplewood, or the Central West End, you absolutely must call Gloria Lou. Take it from me, Debbie Monterey, and call Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. Online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Do you have shoeboxes full of old videotapes and photos? Starting now, radio listeners get access to our best last-minute holiday deals from Legacy Box. Get your family's videotapes converted for just $9 and photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents each, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of old media. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media. It's the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season. Take advantage of this exclusive last-minute holiday offer from Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Stay connected with the heartbeat of St. Louis. KMOX News, bringing you the stories that matter most. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This Major League Baseball Winter Meetings Report brought to you by Goodwill. Give local, give hope, give Goodwill.
Decisions are not something we ever take lightly. But when you sort of understand the profile of what this team looks like, I think, after meeting with him in actually Colorado, we sat down and talked. Ultimately, he's not demanding a trade. He's not telling me I have to do it. But I think in the best interest of both sides, I'd like to try to find him someplace.
That is President of Baseball Operations for the St. Louis Cardinals, John Mozeliak, talking about Nolan Arenado, who he says it would be in both best interest of both parties, the team and the player, if they find a place to trade him. And it's the first time, really, we have heard actual confirmation that they are trying to do this, to make a deal happen, even though we all kind of speculate it's going to happen. On the Quiver River Electric guest line from the winter meetings, Matt Pauley is in Texas right now covering, and Matt joins us on the show. So first of all, good morning, Matt. And secondly, I mean, it's pretty striking to hear that. You usually don't hear a general manager or a president of baseball operations explicitly say, yes, we are trying to trade this player.
Yeah, so a few things. Good morning. First off, it had been reported they were doing it. Both Katie Wu from The Athletic and Derek Gould from the Post-Dispatch had reported that the Cardinals did have Arenado on the trade block, so I don't think anybody should be surprised by that revelation. Secondly, I think Mo does have a track record of when they do have people on the trading block, and it's an obvious type situation. He will say that. Last year we knew that they were going to move on from Tyler O'Neill. And then I think most important here is the context of how that came out of his mouth yesterday, because I don't think he was jumping. I don't think we went into that media session with him planning on disclosing that. The problem was the line of conversation was talking about the opportunities for younger players this upcoming season. And you can't really talk about that without knowing where those opportunities are going to be. So he was trying to kind of scoot around the obvious that there had to be some roster changes when talking about the opportunities for younger players. And I think finally it got to a point where, okay, we can't talk about subject A with at least acknowledging what's going on with subject B. And when he did acknowledge it, obviously it blew up a little bit, and that's where the line of conversation went. So that was kind of the context to the way he released that information yesterday.
So by him saying that, I know there's always that concern that by being explicit about it, it hurts the potential trade value. Does it have any effect really on what the Cardinals plan to do with him or what they might get in return?
No, I push back very strongly on that. Look, everybody already knew that Nolan Arenado was on the trade market. It was being reported widely. He's having conversations with other teams and other executives. So everybody in baseball knows that Nolan Arenado is on the trade market. Just because he happens to confirm it to some reporter sitting in a room, that has zero impact on the trade value of Arenado. And if you really believe that it does, I all I can do is tell you you're incorrect on that one. It's nothing changed from a value of Arenado standpoint, simply because the words coming out of Mo's mouth were something that we already knew. So no, I don't think anything changes. I don't think what the team is willing to take back for him changes. It's just it just happened to be that he confirmed something that we knew.
Matt, the Athletic reporting that at least 3 mid-market teams have seriously inquired about Arenado's availability. Also, Arenado has a full no-trade clause, and apparently his list of acceptable teams is short because he wants to play for a contending team. John Mozeliak said that, or at least they don't anticipate the trade being done before the winter meetings are over. However, I know we may not anticipate it, but do you think there's a good chance that this trade, now that it's just out there in the open, could happen while they're all meeting face to face?
No, I don't. There's too many other things that need to happen. First, Alex Bregman is the top available third baseman. And let's take the Yankees, for example. The Yankees, they lose out on Juan Soto. They absolutely are going to be in on Bregman. That's a guy that they'd like to bring in. Arguably, he's the top remaining position player free agent that's out there right now. So you're not going to be able to engage with the Yankees about Arenado until either the Bregman situation gets worked out or the Yankees know they're out of the running for Bregman. So there's other things like that out there. The Red Sox are talking about moving Rafael Devers off of third. The Phillies want to trade away Alec Boehm. Like there's too much stuff that's going on that really needs to be figured out before you can kind of get to Arenado and all this.
So I know that Ryan Helsley was also a trade possibility, but they have indicated, basically saying that they're not going to, or they don't intend to trade him. Is that a mistake, or would it be difficult for them to get in return what they think would make it worth it?
I think right now it would be a mistake because there's too many available high leverage relievers out there. The Brewers are likely to trade Devin Williams. Orion Presley is out there. Pete Fairbanks is reportedly on the market from the Tampa Bay Rays of St. Louis, and there's a bunch of high leverage guys out there. So if you're a team that's looking for a closer, you've got a bunch of options right now. So I think it is in the Cardinals' best interest to let that market clear out a little bit, see who's left available, and see if you can drum up the market. You cannot sell low on Ryan Helsley. It's better to not sell than to sell low. And if that means that you don't get a deal done this offseason, then worst case scenario is you go into a season with a really good closer and maybe you overperform and maybe you're in contention for the playoffs and he can be a big part of that. Or if things don't go real well for you, there's certainly going to be interest for him coming up at the trade deadline. So no, I would kind of say the same thing about Eric Fedde. I'd say there's less available candidates out there from a starting pitching standpoint than a relief pitching standpoint. But I think it's going to behoove the Cardinals to sit back and wait a little bit on their trade chips that have a lot of value. The guys who don't have a ton of value, with all due respect, Nolan Arenado, because of the contract, that's going to be something that's going to be a little bit more challenging to work out. Once you get a deal that everybody's happy with, boom, go. Steven Matz, once you get something that you feel comfortable with on that, go. But when it comes specifically to Helsley and Fedde, I think waiting a little bit on those guys makes the most sense.
All right, Matt Pauley, if anything breaks today, of course, we'll check back in with you, but we appreciate your coverage.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
Matt Pauley, our sports fella, is at the winter meetings in Dallas covering. So if the Cardinals do anything, if something major happens or even minor, we'll check back in with Matt Pauley. When we come back, I mentioned that really great 60 Minutes piece about Jason Kander here out of Missouri, the former Secretary of State who helped rescue a family from the Taliban in Afghanistan. A remarkable story. Well, Jason Kander joins us next on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, folks, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house on the walls, patios, walkways, porch, or chimneys? If so, this might be a great time to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. What's tuck pointing? It's the removal of old mortar and the replacement of new mortar on a wall or chimney. Sometimes that mortar can become loose, missing, or deeply eroded. We've used the Morelli team to tuck point the Brennan home several times, and in fact, this winter, we noticed the bricks that line the ground near our porch in the backyard had gotten out of line and looked pretty cattywampus. One call, Morelli Tuck Pointing, the job was done. Morelli's the company that's won the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back, since 2005. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. The Masonry Specialists, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
At 10:30, we've got 37 degrees downtown at the Arch. Firefighters in Southern California dealing with a large and so far uncontained wildfire. Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti is in Malibu.
We were driving in around 1 o'clock in the morning, a lot of people fleeing. And I spoke with one woman. She works on a ranch here. She had to flee as she was trying to get her horses into her trailer. She had to leave them behind. You can imagine how emotional she was, waiting to be able to return to see what is left.
The blaze, known as the Franklin Fire, has already impacted more than 2,200 acres. We've got road work on 6440 going west at I-270. That's in the right lane, right shoulder. Emergency vehicles are on 270 going north before 6440. And they've got the right shoulder closed. Some road work on 70 going west at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. That's got the left exit and the left shoulder closed there. Weather is sponsored by U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America Holiday Concerts. This afternoon's high 43 for tonight, low 30 for tomorrow. A few morning flurries, otherwise cold with a mix of clouds and sun. High about 40, but real feel temperatures tomorrow going to be in the 20s. Right now, 37 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Get into the spirit of the season with free holiday concerts by the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America the first 2 weeks in December. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose, paid for by Bayer.
It's officially the merry season, and St. Louis's Christmas station, 102.5 KEZK, is your home for holiday music. Spinning the biggest and best festive tracks all day long, now through Christmas Day. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Get your holiday fix on the radio at 102.5 FM. Ask your smart speaker to play 102.5 KEZK or listen on the go with the free Odyssey app.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com. Broadcasting from the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. This holiday season, you can be the reason children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach milestones once thought impossible. Your gift provides life-saving care to those who need it most. Please donate today at treeofhope.org and be the reason a child has hope for tomorrow.
Season's greetings. This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel, home of the industry's happiest financial advisors. For the second year in a row, J.D. Power ranks Stifel the #1 wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction. So, from our Stifel family to yours, we wish you a happy holiday season and much success in the year to come.
Shop the Belleville Christkindl Market, an outdoor German Christmas market on the public square in Belleville, Illinois. Open weekends now through December 23rd. Featuring over 30 vendors selling unique European and handcrafted items and delicious food and beverages. See live reindeer, pet baby animals, and enjoy bands and vocal and dance groups on select weekends. The Belleville Christkindl Market. For more information, including market dates and hours, check out KMOX.com/events.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neoviten Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neoviten Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neoviten Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neoviten Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neoviten.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and I live in the Fenton area, and I love that I have the largest locally owned sporting goods store right here where I live, Denny Dennis Sporting Goods. Their selection of hunting, fishing, firearms, and ammo is huge. Whether it's for you right now or for the outdoors person on your Christmas shopping list, check out Denny Dennis Sporting Goods in Fenton. Their prices and customer service will not be beat. Denny Dennis, where family traditions begin. I even bought my daughter a fishing rod recently, and memories are made forever. Denny Dennis on Gravois at the Merrimack River, Fenton, Missouri.
Happy holiday. This is Tom Ackerman at KMOX Sports. From the Ackerman family to your family, we wish everyone a happy holiday and a wonderful new year.
Happy holidays from KMOX.
To know that there were people there who had put their lives on the line for us, it felt like leaving a friend behind when you had promised them you wouldn't.
That's the voice of Jason Kander, featured on 60 Minutes last Sunday in what is an incredible story of the rescue of family, a family that he got to know, and multiple families who were rescued from the Taliban in Afghanistan. Just an incredible story. And Jason Kander, a politician, former politician here in Missouri, also a veteran, with us now on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Jason, it's good to talk to you again. How are you?
I'm very good today. Thanks for having me.
So we know that you had the family had a watch party for the 60 Minutes piece from last week. And before we get into what actually happened, how did you feel? How did you feel seeing it?
It was interesting, to sit around with everybody and watch it. There are times we spend a lot of time with the Rossi family here in Kansas City, and sometimes, you just sort of step back from it and think, wow, this all actually happened. They're here. It's great.
Yeah, Jason, I was brought to tears multiple times watching this incredible story. And for our listeners who didn't see it, we highly recommend they go back, they watch the 60 Minutes special. But people know you as the former Missouri Secretary of State, state representative. You are a U.S. Army veteran. And basically what you did, you and a group of private citizens constructed an elaborate plan involving a fake wedding to disguise the escape of hundreds of Afghans who were threatened by the Taliban, and to get them out of Afghanistan and eventually to the United States. And again, it started with a promise with your translator, a translator that you worked with in Afghanistan. Can you kind of set the table of how that all came about?
Yeah, sure. So August of 2021, I was like a lot of other Afghan vets in that it was just heartbreaking to watch the Taliban retake the country. I was very fortunate in that my translator, Salam, he actually had been born in the United States before returning to Afghanistan as a kid. So he was a U.S. citizen. So he had come back to the U.S. several years before, so I wasn't worried about his safety. But when I talked to Salam, I found out that his nephew, Rahim, and all of Rahim's family, all 12 of them, were basically being hunted by the Taliban in Afghanistan because Rahim had been in charge of payroll at Afghanistan International Bank, where he had access. He was one of the very few people who had access to the list of people who were being paid a salary by international organizations that the Taliban opposed, like everybody from the U.S. Embassy to the United Nations. So basically, the Taliban wanted very badly to get their hands on this list because it was essentially a hit list for them of all the people they wanted to exact vengeance on. And Rahim had refused to give that up because he knew it would cost so many people their lives. And, what they didn't have time to include in the story is that the Taliban had tried to kidnap Rahim. They had shot at him as he had fled. They had actually, in trying to find Rahim, they had at one point kidnapped his brother and beat his brother severely, but his brother wouldn't give up his location. And they had issued him a death sentence that had been delivered to him and his entire family. And so he was on the run. And so that's when I connected with Rahim. And then that sort of escalated within a few weeks as I started to try to raise money for the effort, a lot of other veterans came out of the woodwork, and they had their own Afghan allies that they were trying to get out, who, it's a 20-year war. By this point, all of those people had families. And next thing I knew, I and a few other people were orchestrating a fake wedding to fool the Taliban. And in the midst of that, we also had to essentially defy the U.S. government, because by that point, this is 3 weeks after the U.S. had pulled out of the country, the U.S. government had decided that it wasn't at that moment going to fly out any additional Afghans because it was focused on getting Afghan Americans out. And so we had to find another place to land, which is how Albania entered the picture.
So in putting this wedding together, because you talk about your friend who was just basically trusting you, and he had not met you, he had only spoken to you on the phone, and I know he was nervous just from watching the piece. He was terrified multiple times that he's putting his faith in you, again, somebody he doesn't really know yet, somebody he has never met in person, and then you have to orchestrate this entire wedding. Like, how did that come about where you were able to gain that trust of the venue, of him, and of everybody else involved?
Well, I can't get a lot into the details of how we did the things on the ground that we did because I don't want to put anybody so over there in jeopardy, but I can talk about my and Raheem's relationship. And that is just to say that, for the I'd say 4 weeks before they got out, because we started in August and it went all the way to September 24th, just the effort of getting them out of the country, he and I were on the phone or texting every moment of every day. I mean, I wasn't sleeping, he wasn't sleeping. And in the midst of that, we just had a lot of work to do together. On the one hand, when I wasn't talking to him, I was working with, my fellow vets and others who were helping me to orchestrate this thing and we tried many different things that didn't work. But whenever I was talking to Raheem, it was about getting paperwork for him and his entire family, helping him sort of figure out what a cover story would be or where to go, where they could head to next to try and evade the Taliban. So, it's a lot like a deployment. I just wasn't there. So we became very close very quickly. And one thing I do also want to mention is that because we're talking to a St. Louis audience, there's no way this would have worked without some people in St. Louis. When we needed to get the nation of Albania to grant us landing rights in their country, because you can't take off if you don't have a place to land. And if you didn't have a place to land, there was going to be no safe haven inside the airport. So there was no way it was going to work. In order to get Albania to go along, they needed assurances from somebody in the government in America, and nobody in the U.S. government at that moment was going to give us that. So I called my friend Tashara Jones and I said, hey, I've drafted a letter for you that makes a lot of promises that are pretty questionable, but I don't have time for you to edit it, and I need you to keep it a secret. So I'm going to send it to you. I need you to send it right back signed. And I said, I promise you'll save hundreds of people's lives. And she said, send it over. And she did it right away. And had she not done that, none of this would have happened. In addition to that, there's two other people who were huge parts of this, and it's Javad Kazali, who was our pro bono attorney throughout it, did a lot of work in Albania on the ground, and then Arindam Kaur from the International Institute. And that's why actually a good portion of the people who got out in the wedding party in Operation Bella actually first came to St. Louis because of that. The Rauhi family is actually the only family in the group that came to Kansas City because they came here to be near family, to be near the Kander family.
Wow. So just to clarify, Mayor Tashara Jones, she was the government official that you were able to get an official paper from. Is that's what she was, the role she played?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we basically had to hold out the mayor of St. Louis to the nation of Albania as having purview over some things that she may not have purview over. But,
Wow.
Whatever works, though.
It was a big, it was a huge ask of her.
Yeah.
But she and I go way back. We're very close. And, but I just want to be clear, like, I don't think any of this works without Tashara Jones being able to take a leap of faith and just do a crazy thing that I asked her to do.
Wow. That I did not know that. That's crazy. And there were so many complicated, intricate, and tenuous moments in this journey because, as the story mentions, Kabul had the airport in Kabul was completely taken over, guarded by the Taliban. So you couldn't exit the country via that airport. So the family had to drive 11 hours. And it was 12 people, right, in this family driving 11 hours to Mazar-e Sharif. And that whole trip was dotted with Taliban checkpoints. And I know that had to have been so stressful for them and for you, thinking, oh my goodness, they could they could be killed on this drive just trying to get to the northern part of Afghanistan.
Yeah, it was. I mean, imagine a 11-hour road trip with your kids, and now imagine you have a family of 12, and you're deeply concerned about the real credible chance that you'll be kidnapped or killed along the way by the people who are looking for you. So it was terrible for them. The way it was for me is obviously trivial, but I can tell you what it was like on our end, which is it was sort of, like when you're watching a movie about like Apollo 13 or one of those movies where they're like, okay, we're going to lose radio contact while they re-enter the atmosphere. And then there's this long, it was like that, but it lasted 11 hours on our end because they couldn't, Raheem had to, he couldn't risk being on the phone with me while he was, not in hiding. So we had to wait until they arrived to find out that they got there safely.
Just one of the brief moments that happened, that he tells the story about almost immediately getting stopped by Taliban. He's got the kids in the car. The kids are crying, and the kids crying probably saved them in the moment because the Taliban just let them go, which is that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think basically, I think the lower level Taliban folks who stopped them basically, I think were like, we got a lot of cars out here, and these kids, like, I think had that not happened and they would have taken the time to, run his biometrics or his ID, he would have, come up hot on that list and probably never be seen again. So it was the line between all of this working and me talking to you right now and this being the most horrible thing and horrible mistake I ever made, and a lot of people being killed as a result, is sort of a razor thin line.
Wow. You kind of figure that in something like this, that would probably have been the reality anyway. It's so difficult to make that all work, and for everything it has to go perfectly. But it's kind of a leap you had to make, right?
Yeah, it's just there were just a lot of. I mean, I'm very glad I did it, but I did not by any stretch do it by myself. But I'm very glad I was involved in it, and best thing I've ever done. But yeah, there were a lot of moments. There was a moment. I mean, obviously the 60 Minutes piece, they only had 21 or so minutes, so there's a lot they couldn't include. But for instance, while they were hiding in the wedding hall, at one point, the Taliban actually. It became guests at the wedding in the room next door, and so what happened is all the women in our group, what they did, thinking quickly, is they basically forced all the men to go hide in another part of the room, and all the women stood against the door so that if the Taliban entered, the hope was that they wouldn't want to go through a crowd of women. Wow. And fortunately, they never did come through that door. But I mean, I say that to say the level of bravery of these people, not just in raising their hand to serve the coalition or to serve the interests of democracy in Afghanistan, but even to take the risks that they took to try to escape and to dream of a better life. It is truly heroic.
Jason, it's an awesome story. But before we let you go, though, I wanted to ask you how the Veterans Community Project is going. I believe the last time we spoke, we talked about it and the expansion of it.
I appreciate that. Before I talk about that, let me put in one plug for an effort that came out of all this. So after Operation Bella, which got 383 people out of the country, we realized we were sort of onto something. And we started a nonprofit called American Rescue Project. People can go to theamericanrescueproject.org. American Rescue Project actually went on to do some similar stuff to Operation Bella and is responsible for facilitating the escape of over 2,000 Afghan allies that would have faced retribution by the Taliban, and is now also operating in Ukraine as well. So, what this grew into is wild. So people, if they're interested in supporting it, they can go to theamericanrescueproject.org. Thank you for the question about Veterans Community Project, which I did not start, but I am happily, the last few years, the president of national expansion there. it's going great. We're in several cities now. One of them is St. Louis. People can go to the location up north, up MLK, where we now have several veterans that we are housing, and we're still in the process of building more tiny houses there. But it's a great looking campus, and the staff there are doing really fantastic stuff. So for that, they can go to vcp.org to support it.
Jason Kander, it's always a great conversation to have you on, and I don't know, man, you're doing so much and have done so much already for a lot of people, and it is recognized. We all recognize that. So thank you for giving us your time today. We appreciate you.
Oh, well, thanks very much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
That is Jason Kander, again, former Missouri Secretary of State, veteran, representative here in the state. VCP.org, one of the websites. The other one he mentioned is the American Rescue Project.org. So for information on both of those really great organizations, go check them out. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
One of the best ways to find out about 3-Day Kitchen and Bath is actually to hear the results for yourself. On the phone with us is Wendy in Darwin. Wendy, you got a brand new bathroom.
I do, and it's beautiful.
Are you loving it?
I am absolutely loving it.
Okay, tell me about your bathroom.
It went from a dark room that felt like an absolute cave when I walked into it to a bright, airy, opened the space up. I mean, I don't know what else. It's just absolutely wonderful.
She's almost speechless. So, Darwin, tell me about all the man stuff. How did it work? The quality, the convenience. How did they do?
Excellent. We contacted 3-Day Bath, and they got back to us the next day. The communication was excellent. They were on time in all their promises, and it's beautiful. It's a great bathroom.
Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely.
For more about your new kitchen or bath, visit 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Listen, you have been making house payments for years, right? And right now, your home's value has never been higher. That means you're likely sitting on a small fortune in equity. Good for you. That's cash you could use to help secure your retirement, solve all your financial burdens, enable you to travel everything you want. The catch is you're not ready to move. No problem. You don't have to with the TrueHold Sell and Stay Leaseback program. This is a genius financial strategy. You sell your home to TrueHold while its value is high. You bank all that equity in cash now, and you can stay as long as you like with an easy, affordable lease. And TrueHold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a TrueHold offer now while your home's value is sky high. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out without moving out, TrueHold.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
The American Cancer Society calls upon Black women from all walks of life to join Voices of Black Women, a groundbreaking research study led by the American Cancer Society. Voices of Black Women is designed to better understand why and how cancer and other health conditions impact Black women. Go to voices.cancer.org.
This holiday season, save $30 on the GTA 26 handheld garden pruner, now just $149.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Offer valid for a limited time, only at participating dealers while supplies last.
I'm Joe Pott. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Now, did you see this? with Chris and Amy.
Amy, we talked about Ivan Browning last week. Remember
Yeah.
the guy who predicted this massive earthquake that was going to kill us all in the Midwest back in 1990 and it never happened? Well, apparently there were actual multiple earthquakes that were recorded along the New Madrid fault line, and it happened yesterday morning. Did you see this story?
No. Well,
Yeah,
because
so-
there was the California earthquake. Well, the earthquake
The
that
one
hit
off the coast.
Off the coast. They thought there might be a tsunami, but there wasn't. Thank
There was no
goodness.
tsunami.
So, no. So, the New Madrid fault yesterday?
Yes, yesterday morning, there were multiple earthquakes, 5 of them that they found.
Mhm.
One of them near Marston, Missouri. Are you familiar with Marston,
not.
Missouri? Well, it is south of here by about 2.5 hours.
Not far.
Yes, like almost directly
Closer
south.
than the Lake of the Ozarks.
How far is that? 4?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go straight south. You go past Farmington, past Cape Girardeau,
So you might have
past Sykeston.
you might have felt it in Cape Girardeau and Farmington. Lots of family out there,
Yeah.
friends.
But nobody was injured, I don't think.
Oh.
It sounds like it was one of those
That's
minor
good.
ones.
Like how minor? Like 1?
All of the quakes considered to be a magnitude of 1 or higher. So there was one earthquake that was a 2.5. That's a nothing. That's a nothing.
Pretty low. I've only lived through one earthquake that I remember. It was very, very low. It was in the middle of the night. I woke up and I'm like, are we vibrating? Like, it didn't even feel like shaking. It just felt like a little vibration. And when I woke up, not only had some of the stuff moved on my desk, but downstairs, some of the picture frames.
No,
had
that's
fallen.
ghosts.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. So anyway, the earthquake did come. Ivan Browning was wrong by about 34 years, but they didn't kill anybody.
He was also
So-
wrong in the magnitude.
Oh, yeah,
That's probably the
absolutely
bigger
correct.
point.
So you ever filled out one of those HR surveys that your company sends you?
Have
Maybe
I?
they ask you about the
Yeah.
environment, if
Like, how do you
everything's
like
okay.
working? How do you like working here?
Well, this one company did that, and then they fired everybody. So they say they didn't, but they did. We will talk about it when we come back on KMOX.
Happy holidays from all of us at the Audiology Center, where hearing is our passion.
Happy holidays to you, Dr. Colleen Bosler, and everyone at the Audiology Center. You have some important information for our listeners as we approach the end of the year and the holidays.
At the end of the year, all the new hearing aid companies come out with their models for the next year. And oh my gosh, Charlie, there have been major advancements in technology. Just in time for the holidays. With so many social gatherings around this time, you want to be able to hear and enjoy visiting with loved ones. You don't want to miss out this holiday season, so please call today and make an appointment so you can hear better tomorrow.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Folks, the Audiology Center has 3 convenient locations: St. Peter's, Creve Coeur, and Florissant. Make a reservation today, 636-441-7470 or the audiologycenterstl.com.
With a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
'Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. Find the best deals on the Hardee's app. Items available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Hey, it's Brady Cook, quarterback at Mizzou, for Macadoodle's Garden Prairie, where wine tastings happen all day and friends are made when the door opens. Macadoodles has everything from fan-favorite California cabs to interesting wines from the old world. A wide selection of bourbon and tequila, and basically every spirit you can imagine. Whether you need to stock up the liquor cabinet for your next party or you're having a cozy night in with a bottle of wine, Macadoodles has you covered. The friendliest staff in town. Come visit Macadoodles on Bryan Road, just north of the Page Extension in St. Charles County.
At 11:01, we've got 38 degrees downtown at the Arch. St. Louis Public Schools releases an internal audit into the troubled administration of former Superintendent Keisha Scarlett.
The 47-page SLPS audit peeks into the day-to-day life under Keisha Scarlett's rule, who issued critical changes such as payroll adjustments, remote work approvals, and timesheet changes frequently made without proper documentation. Emails from board members addressed to chiefs were redirected to the superintendent, who personally handled the inquiries. In the report, staff expressed concerns about potential repercussions or retaliation for resisting directives from the superintendent, deputy superintendent, or chief of staff. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The suspect under arrest for the killing of United Healthcare CEO faces charges in New York.
Court records in New York show that the 26-year-old alleged to have gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson has been charged with murder. Luigi Nicholas Mangione is in custody in Pennsylvania after police responded to a tip from a customer at a McDonald's in Altoona. Deputy Police Chief Derek Swope.
That male was asked to remove his face mask, and officers immediately recognized him as a suspect.
The complaint says when asked whether he'd been to New York recently, he became quiet and started to shake. Arresting officer Tyler Fry had been with the force for all of 6 months.
Didn't even think twice about it. We knew that was our guy.
A law enforcement official who spoke with the Associated Press said Mangione carried a document in which he claimed to have acted alone and wrote it had to be done. These parasites simply had it coming. Officials say he was carrying a ghost gun like the one used to kill Thompson and the same fake ID the shooter had used to check into a New York hostel, along with a passport, fraudulent IDs, and $10,000 in cash. Police credited the tip along with old school detective work and new age technology in helping locate the suspect. I'm Jennifer King.
The time to certify and publish the Equal Rights Amendment is now.
Congresswoman Cori Bush in Washington, D.C. this morning, urging for that.
The ERA is one sentence that has the power to protect our future. Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. That's it.
About this time of year, the Salvation Army gathers bell ringers to collect donations, but this year they're struggling to find volunteers. Captain Jerry Casey in Monroe, Louisiana.
People just walking past the cattle. Maybe they think that we have it under control. We don't. We don't have it under control.
The KMOX business desk, the Boeing lines are back open.
Boeing is reportedly back to building new 737 MAX jets. Production of the workhorse plane had been halted since the strike by 33,000 factory workers. Reuters is reporting that 737 MAX production was restarted on Friday. Kimberly Adams, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel is up 4 points to 44,405. Emergency vehicles on 55 going south at Butler Hill. The right lane, right shoulder closed. A disabled vehicle 6440 going west at Mason and the right shoulder.
Partly sunny for this afternoon. It's going to be colder than recent days, a high of 43. Partly cloudy for tonight, a low near 30. Maybe a few morning flurries tomorrow, otherwise brisk and very cold with intervals of clouds and sunshine. High temperature near 40. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Times are always changing, but Penn Mutual stands the test of time. The 177-year young mutual company is leading the way in life insurance. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. It's 38 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This segment of the Chris and Amy Show is brought to you by the Hot Stove Cafe, where every rumor comes with a side of fries.
Tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch.
You know, going to work's
Awesome.
it's difficult, isn't it?
Well, just when you're here.
tough.
Sometimes when you're on vacation, it's fun.
Like wait, I'm never on vacation. You're always
not on
vacation.
You're just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I will say this.
What?
You brought up right before the news that, have you ever taken a employee engagement survey?
Mhm.
And the thing is, we get those, but we actually just got ours like a week ago.
Yes.
I took it, but we are getting constant
Reminders.
incessant reminders
Yes.
to take this employee engagement
Yeah.
survey because they really, really want to make sure we're happy. I think
They
it's 'cause
really
they
want,
care.
yes. So
It has to be because they care.
I got called out at the Christmas party because I hadn't taken it yet.
Yes.
And then I said, wait, she's talking to everybody like, hey, please take your engagement surveys. And then I'm sure I heard her say Chris Ranji.
Yeah.
And I went, well, hold on a second. I thought these were supposed to be anonymous.
So here's the thing. They go, we guarantee you.
Now, how do you know I haven't taken it yet if they're not anonymous?
Yeah, and it says we guarantee you that they won't have any idea who submitted this employee engagement survey. And then the very next line is, please do not forward your survey to someone else because the link is unique to you.
How am I going to, how am I going to say something rotten about Steve Moore anonymously if I think that he's going to read it?
Listen, what I would do is don't say dingus because they're going to know it's you. Don't be like Steve Moore is a dingus. Don't say that.
Yeah, this guy's a real
First of all,
dingus.
that's rude. He's our boss and I don't feel that way. But what I'm saying is don't use identifying words. Try to use language that maybe Megan Lynch would use or Andrew.
So I could pin it on them?
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
If I was going to complain, if I were going to complain, I would definitely try to use language that sounded like Roger Brand.
In all seriousness, I have very few complaints about our bosses.
No, Steve is the best.
Yeah,
yeah, and Becky. Well, I'm just
And
saying
Becky,
the
too.
one we were complaining, the one you were
Yeah.
complaining about was Steve. No, but I will say this: never trust that it's anonymous.
Well,
Nothing is
let
ever
me-
anonymous. I
let-
don't care what they say. It's just not.
Let me tell you why. There is a company out of India called Yes Ma'am. They were featured on Shark Tank at one point, and they sell home salon products. I don't know exactly what, but stuff that you can use at home. That's stuff that you would use in a salon. They sent out an email after doing one of these, what they called a stress survey, where they polled all the people who work for them and asked them about their stress level at work. Then all of the employees got this mass email from the HR manager. And it reads this: Dear team, recently we conducted a survey to understand your feelings about stress at work. Many of you shared your concerns, which we deeply value and respect. As a company committed to fostering a healthy and supportive work environment, we have carefully considered the feedback. To ensure no one remains stressed at work, we have made the difficult decision to part ways with employees who indicated significant stress.
What?
The decision is effective immediately, and impacted employees will receive further details separately. Thank you for your contributions. Okay. So this started to make the rounds on social media, and it sounds like there's no way this is true. There's no way that a company actually did this. Well,
And just so you know, yes, madam, I'm like, I've never heard of it, but it was on Shark Tank.
yeah,
I mean, it's gotten some clout.
it's gotten some
fame.
pub. So they have been getting, as you can imagine, quite a bit of pushback. Well, they were forced to issue this statement via their Twitter account. And it says, to our Yes Madam family and community, we sincerely apologize for any distress caused by recent social media posts suggesting we dismissed employees for being stressed. Let us be clear, we would never take such an inhumane step. Our team is like family in their dedication, hard work, passion, foundations of our success, blah, blah, blah. The social media posts were planned effort to highlight the serious issue of workplace stress. And to those who shared angry comments or voiced strong opinions, we say thank you. When people speak up, it shows they care, and care is at the heart of our business. So now they're backtracking and saying that they did not fire anybody.
Wait, but I'm confused by the
so
wording.
am I.
It was a planned Twitter that
So am I.
wanted to pretend to fire people.
I don't really understand what you think you're getting out of this. So all that you've really accomplished in doing is making people think that you fired a bunch of your employees for saying they're stressed out at work, and then you backtrack and say, no, that was just a social media post. So I'm assuming they leaked this HR email.
Now,
I don't really understand what the end game was, if in fact they're being serious about this. I tend to think, and maybe this is conspiracy stuff, but I tend to think they did in fact fire a bunch of employees, and now they're backtracking because they look stupid.
Yeah, and you said this is not a U.S.-based company, right?
It's in India, yeah.
Okay, I don't know what the rules are there. I feel like in the United States.
Well, I'm sure they operate here.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't seem legal, but it's also, it's so laughable if it weren't, actually true. It feels like a Saturday Night Live skit that take this survey and tell me if you're happy. And then when people say, yeah, we're a little stressed, they fire all the people who are stressed. It's laughable. It's a joke.
But what it does do, if anybody got to see this, and I know that people have, heard about this story because it's been out there, it's been in social media. All this really does is make people nervous to fill those surveys out now, because you're thinking, well, maybe the company really does want to know how they can improve, what they're doing wrong, what areas we might need to look at. But now it feels like, well, maybe they're reading and they know exactly who says what, and they're going to seek retribution on those people. So now if you're trying to get employee engagement, this is the last way to do it.
Yeah. No, it's
But I know you're
it's
nervous
pretty
about
funny.
filling out those surveys.
I know, because you either have to lie or be nervous. And I'm not a liar.
Well, I don't know what you're nervous about. You should have nothing but good things to say.
I have great things to say.
Mm.
I love Matt Pajeski. Oh man, that's a giveaway. If I said I love Matt Pajeski on the show, he knows it's going to be one of the two of us.
Despite all the screw ups.
I don't see any screw ups with Matt Pajeski.
Well, he was having issues earlier today.
Hey, real quick, 314-436-7900 if you want to text. We'd love to hear from you. Do you take employee engagement surveys? Are you honest on those surveys? You can also leave us a voice message on the voice message feature on the Odyssey app on the KMOX page. There's a microphone icon. Super easy to leave us a voice message. But we do want to hear from you because
I still feel like, I know they tell you it's anonymous.
It's not. Nothing's anonymous.
But they tell us it is. Should
Well,
I not believe them?
Maybe it's anonymous when you take it, and then our company can't see who sent which responses. But considering all of the links are unique to our employee numbers, the third-party company definitely knows who responded, and I feel like the third-party company will make any information available that they need to.
Okay. I don't know if I know I don't trust it, but I did it because they can tell if you've taken it or not. And I'm assuming that that's where it ends. All they know is whether or not you've taken it. They don't know what you've actually said. But I would think that most people, before they take the HR surveys, hey, how's the company doing? Hey, tell us where we can get better. Hey, who don't you like and why don't you like them? I would imagine most people feel like that information will get back to the wrong
100%.
person.
I definitely know it will. I mean, not that I said bad things. I'm just saying I know it's not anonymous. I just don't trust anything. You know what it's like? I don't tell anybody anything unless you want the whole world to know. That's how I am with things that I say. And I feel like I've gotten really, really lackadaisical on that because I feel like this toxic environment engenders you to say all sorts of things that you wish you hadn't said. But I do feel like, let's say you've got something really important or maybe something vulnerable or you want to share with someone. Don't trust that person. There are
at work?
Anywhere in your life except maybe one person, maybe two. Even your best friends, I hate to break it to you, they're going to tell someone else because have they ever told you this? Listen, I didn't tell anyone else. I'm not going to tell anyone else. I shouldn't tell you this, but. And then they tell you. If they've ever done that to you, they're doing it to other people.
Hey.
They are. No, I'm just saying there are maybe at most two people in the entire world you can actually trust to keep a secret. I would say pretty much pick one. But my philosophy has always been, If you tell one person something, assume the whole world is going to know. You have to be careful.
This text message says, when we used to get those surveys, I had a coworker that called them bear traps.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. Another one, I called the 800 number at work to complain about a hostile work environment with my manager, and the regional manager knew it was me. Never again will I trust that one.
800 number.
Dude, that would suck. That would suck so hard, man. Like I feel like I'm okay. This is my avenue. This is my way that I can reach out to the company and I can cry for help. And then the person, like the phone call goes directly to the person that you're trying to complain about.
Yeah. I gotta look at my answers again. See if I should be nervous or not. I had it sent to me. They're like, do you want your answers sent to you? Absolutely, I do. Because I need to go back and read them and stress.
This message says companies don't want to hear the truth. See Boeing. Well,
wow.
Did you see that whistleblower on 60 Minutes?
So I was watching the Jason Kander thing and I didn't get a chance to watch the whistleblower. How did it go?
Yeah, well, so he said there was a one. I need to go back and watch it again, but there was at one point they said all these faulty rudder parts that go on a plane that are missing that he believes were installed on planes, which means that there's all these planes out there with these faulty rudders.
I don't need this.
I don't either.
Not at this time of year.
But that's what the whistleblower said. So who knows if that's true or not? We have no confirmation of it.
Steve Butts got to be a whistleblower with the North County Grant Program, how that money was going to specious and non-existent companies.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'll ever get to be a whistleblower.
You're never going to get to be a whistleblower. No one's going to tell you anything.
No, they don't tell you. I see it. I witness it.
Oh, no.
I could blow a whistle on you.
All right. I wish you would. That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Use the voice message feature on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download it and listen to the show. Listen to the podcasts. Listen to Cardinals baseball. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Honey, bags are packed and in the trunk. Is the car good to drive to Mother's holiday dinner?
Yes, dear. Car's good. We have Ox Car Care for their extended car service plan. Ox covers our repair bills if anything happens. We have no worries if any problems come up on our holiday travels. Ox Car Care has our back.
I remember. Ox has flexible coverage plans that can protect issues with engine, transmission, brake systems, and so much more.
Yep, we don't pay. Ox pays. Ox gets it fixed for us. Joe at the auto shop says Ox Car Care pays them directly, and there's no complicated paperwork. Ox is A+ rated, with already millions of dollars paid out in claims.
Right. They handled our claim from start to finish, unlike those other companies. Good call. The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill this holiday. The only thing now is, which pie is Aunt Martha making?
Drive with absolute peace of mind this holiday season. Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-221-6319. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox today. 800-221-6319. 800-221-6319 or oxcarcare.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
This is Chad with Clayman Real Estate, KLAMEN Group.com. Do you have a house that you need to sell, but you're not sure when you want your closing date to be? Maybe you're looking for a new house to buy and you're not sure when you can sell your current house. Maybe you're going to a senior living facility and not sure when you're going to be allowed in. We can provide a flexible closing date for you. If you need to close tomorrow or you need to close in 6 months, that's okay for us. Push it up or back, whatever's best for you. Clayman, KLAMEN Group.com. Call today for a flexible sale.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. Thanks to supporters like you, children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach incredible milestones. Please donate today at treeofhope.org.
Do you have shoeboxes full of old videotapes and photos? Starting now, radio listeners get access to our best last-minute holiday deals from Legacy Box. Get your family's videotapes converted for just $9 and photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents each, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of old media. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media. It's the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season. Take advantage of this exclusive last-minute holiday offer from Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Rich Orris hosts the Kingdom OX Home Improvement Show, presented by Mosby Building Arts. Saturday at 11 on the Voice of St. Louis, Kingdom OX.
Okay, everybody, here we go. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, we still want to hear from you about those employee engagement surveys. Does your work trick you into confessing your stress and unhappiness?
And have you ever been caught?
And have you ever been caught
Complaining about somebody
They
at work?
claim it's anonymous,
That's what they tell you.
but who believes it?
I don't trust it.
Hey, speaking of workplace problems,
I'm
let's
screwed.
return to the St. Louis Public Schools. So the state's audit on the district pay, hiring practices, and credit card usage under former Superintendent Keisha Scarlett has been completed. The reports are out. And yeah, there were key findings that she hired people and increased pay and implemented promotions without proper board approval, temporary contracts that paid new hires approximately $146,000 before their official start dates, often without clear documentation or board approval, credit card mismanagement with 60% of more than $260,000 in charges reviewed being deemed questionable, and $34,000 in prohibited expenses for things like gifts and donations, and almost $20,000 in non-reimbursable travel costs. The list goes on, but basically she was spending money without approval. She was hiring people, circumventing hiring practices and board approval, giving promotions and pay raises, and oh, by the way, to people she knew and their spouses, her cronies from the Seattle area. And that is just one of the ways that she was able to drive the St. Louis Public Schools from a $17 million surplus to a $35 million deficit in just 1 year. Insane to me. What's insane to me is that the interim superintendent is someone she hired. I feel like they need to look at everybody that she hired because, again, she hired a lot of her friends from Washington, as well as some of their spouses, and just without approval, without oversight, and just gave them tons of money.
I feel like I need to find a friend in a position of like a hiring position, and that doesn't really care about requirements all that much, and I can get a job. I get a job doing something that I'm not qualified to do and make considerable money doing it. That's what I need.
Well,
I need
know,
to be.
I know who you can talk to. Keisha Scarlett now runs a consulting firm.
Well, but see, I
You
don't.
can
I
go
don't
to
think.
her and go like, "Can you consult with me on
You think I
how?"
could work with her, like for her?
If you're her friend,
Oh
it
man.
might be too late.
Yeah, because we're
You're
not friends.
You're not her friend.
Ah, damn it. Well, I'm screwed.
Hmm.
That would be nice, though, wouldn't it? It'd be nice to have a
Cronyism? That's what
crony.
you're
Oh,
saying. You
dude,
love
cronyism
cronyism.
is amazing. If you're a crony,
Yeah, but you're not a crony of anyone.
that's why am I not a crony?
You are. Here's the problem. You only have cronies. Your stripper friend probably might have to reach out to you.
He's not a stripper anymore. Now he's a teacher. He is.
Your raw meat eating friend?
Yeah, he's a teacher.
Oh,
Same
that's
guy.
the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a roommate years ago who went on a raw food diet.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say food, I mean everything, including chicken. He went raw for about a year and a half. And he also was a stripper for a short period of time. He would do bachelorette parties.
Is he the one that also ate rotten meat?
Same guy.
Same guy.
It was called High Meat.
High meat.
High Meat. And Matt Pajeski, have you heard this? Okay.
No.
So here's what he would do. He learned it. He started reading a bunch of alternative medicine books.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And there was a guy who claimed he was terminal with cancer he was riddled with it all over his body at like 19 years old. And they said, you are not going to make it to 20. And he was like 80 because he decided he was going to do everything on a raw diet, and the raw diet cured his cancer. That's what he said. So this guy, my buddy, was just into it. And one of the things he would eat was called High Meat, and he would buy some good quality meat from Whole Foods, put it in a mason jar, not your boyfriend. He'd put it in a mason jar, close it up, put it in the fridge, let it sit there between 1 and 3 months, wait for it to rot.
Oh my gosh.
And then once a week, he would open the jar and he would pull out a little marble-sized piece, and he would just swallow it.
Okay.
And the
I'm gonna
bacteria,
throw up.
so the bacteria in the meat was supposed to help fight illnesses and, make you immune to stuff.
Did you ever get really sick?
He never got sick. He did that for a year and a half. Raw chicken,
Oh, no, stop.
raw beef.
Oh my gosh.
I watched him eat a chicken leg raw.
No.
He did it. Yes. I watched it.
That's not the kind
Never
of
got
crony you
sick.
need.
I don't know, man. He was Iron Man for a while.
Wow.
Now he's fat. Well, he stopped doing the raw diet.
I know. That's what happens.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. More on the winter meetings. We've got Bernie Miklas joining us in just. We should put Bernie. Let's see if he's interested in raw chicken.
I think we'd ask him.
We'll ask him.
And cronyism.
And cronyism.
See if he likes it.
Bernie Miklas joins us next on KMOX.
The off-season heats up, and KMOX is your exclusive home for Cardinals coverage. This week, all eyes are on Dallas for the MLB winter meetings, and KMOX is the station bringing Cardinal fans every breaking story. And Matt Pauley is live, reporting directly from Dallas.
I'll keep you connected with exclusive updates on KMOX, Sports Open Line each night 6 to 8, plus live episodes of the Gas House Gang at noon on the KMOX Sports Twitter and YouTube channels.
Cardinals baseball. There's only one station that delivers. KMOX, the voice of the Cardinals.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Tune into the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at 11 a.m. or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
At 11:30, we've got 39 degrees downtown at the Arch. The U.S. Navy is installing free Wi-Fi on all 280 of its ships to help sailors better communicate with loved ones, among other things. Mike Ehrig served 28 years in the Navy, now owns a Chesapeake, Virginia company that is installing the Wi-Fi on the ships.
When they're down in cruise berthing or cruise mess or sitting in their rack area or lounge areas, they could talk to folks. They could do whatever they wanted to do that they could never do before that.
Installing the Wi-Fi on Navy ships is intended to address the issue of mental health. We've got moving roadwork on 364 East at Route K. That's got the right lane closed. A stalled vehicle, 370 East at Truman Boulevard. That's on the right shoulder. Some roadwork on 70 going west at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, and that's got the left exit and left shoulder closed. This afternoon, sunny and colder than recent days with a high temperature of 43 degrees. For tonight, partly cloudy, low of about 30. For tomorrow, a few morning flurries, otherwise brisk and cold with a mix of clouds and sun and a high of about 40, but real field temperatures will be in the 20s. Sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm, we've got 39 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at LifeMD.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com to get your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility in minutes. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I've gone from 237 to 195. This was life altering. And if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now with your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility for coverage in minutes at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
This is Bernie Miklas. If you'd like to build a home, consider Fisher & Fritchel, a local family-owned company that receives numerous awards for its legendary quality and exceptional customer service. In 2024, they received the Torch Award from the Better Business Bureau and were voted Best Residential Builder by readers of the Post-Dispatch. They're currently building stunning homes and detached villas in Cottleville, Forestell, Lake St. Louis, O'Fallon, and St. Peters, or they can build a home on your land. For details, visit fnfhomes.com.
For eligible individuals 18 and older with self-perceived mild to moderate hearing loss only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
Life without hearing aids can be frustrating.
Andy, did you hear what she just said?
No, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
I said I got the promotion, Dad. I thought you would be excited.
You're missing out on the important moments of your life because you just can't hear them. It's time to try the Jabra Enhanced Select 500. Our smallest, most advanced hearing aid. With proprietary speech clarity technology, even the most complex listening situations like a noisy restaurant are crisp and clear. And you can get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional care you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. Get Jabra Enhance over-the-counter hearing aids and stop missing the important moments. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/radio. That's JABRA Enhance.com/radio. JabraEnhance.com/radio.
Bernie Miklas gets the final word during Sports on a Sunday morning. Hear what he has to say on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
The amount of young guys that we have, right? You look at our catching situation with Contreras moving over to playing some first and DHing. You have two young catchers. You have a combination of Burleson and Contreras at first. You have Donnie, you have Gorman, you have Newt, you have Vic, you have Siani, you have Walker, you have Mason. Like you have a ton of young dudes, so it's the right time.
That is the voice of Oliver Marmol, the manager of your St. Louis Cardinals, talking at the winter meetings as they continue today in Dallas, Texas. And we also heard from John Mozeliak yesterday, who explicitly said the Cardinals are looking to trade Nolan Arenado. That is no surprise to anybody. But him saying it is a bit of a surprise. Don't always get to hear that. And the Bernie Miklasz report brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. It is time to welcome in Bernie Miklasz, who is with us every Tuesday and Thursday just after the 11:30 news on KMOX. Good morning, Bernie.
Good morning. How are we today?
Yeah, we're doing okay. So, you heard from Oliver Marmol there, and he's talking about the young players, and that was apparently the conversation that John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, was having with reporters yesterday when he just flat out said it would be in the interest of both parties, talking about Nolan Arenado and the Cardinals, to move him. Are you surprised he was so explicit?
No, the reason I took that as a good thing, because I think Arenado moving on would be good for everybody. You know, it would be make him happy, would be better for the team with their youth movement. But John Mozeliak is usually very cautious in what he says publicly. So the fact that he was acknowledging, that he intends to trade Arenado, he even gave media, including Matt Pauley down there, a time frame. Said, well, it won't be this week, but he expected, something will be done before the end of the year, which in the end of the year is rapidly approaching. So that tells me that he's very, very confident. I would say even certain that he will be able to trade Nolan Arenado. It's obvious that they're going through some offers. I don't know how many. I don't think the pool for Arenado is very large in terms of the number of teams, but there's enough there that gives him the confidence about a trade. There's enough there that he felt comfortable offering that to the media.
Bernie, the Athletic reports that Mozeliak had said that the news of Juan Soto signing with the New York Mets could help engender movement when it comes to trades, because it kind of opens up some teams. The New York Yankees, according to an Athletic source, are one of the teams who have expressed interest in Arenado. Not sure if the Yankees are on his list. Do you think is that a real possibility in your mind?
Yeah, I think the Yankees would have to be viewed as a leading contender, because Brian Cashman, who runs their baseball operations and has forever, it seems, he has said they want to move Jazz Chisholm to second base. He basically, when they got him from the Marlins last year, they put him at third because they didn't have anybody that they were comfortable playing there. So the Yankees, if they move Chisholm to second base, which is their desire, third base is open. And then the other thing, they did not. They opted not to issue a qualifying offer to Anthony Rizzo, their first baseman, which means he's a free agent, and it means that the Yankees don't have a first baseman right now. So Arenado is a third baseman, one of the best defenders at that position in baseball. Plus, said he's willing to play first base. So it seems to me that that's a fit. I think the Red Sox could be a fit. The Dodgers general manager yesterday was adamant, however, about Max Muncy is our third baseman, period. Max Muncy is our guy. We love him. So I don't know whether the Dodgers are playing possum here. Maybe they want Arenado, but they don't want to tip their hand too much. But I think it's a pretty narrow group of teams. But the Yankees definitely, if we're looking for fits, the Yankees would be one of them. And then it would come down, if something could be worked out, it would have to come down to whether Arenado wants to play for the Yankees. I would think that he would, even though he's a West Coast guy.
The Cardinals are in an interesting position because they're in a division which still feels like it could be winnable. It's not like being in, the American League East or, the National League East right now. It's not like one of those divisions because there isn't one team that's clearly far and away better than the rest. We know the Brewers were pretty good this past year, but it just feels like it's possible, right? If they don't have Nolan Arenado producing offensively the way he typically does, up until recently, that whole lineup doesn't really work all that well. They need him. They needed Goldschmidt to be what it is. So with all these young players that they have been talking about, do you see a productive lineup? I mean, can they put one out there?
Well, I mean, first of all, Arenado last year, his OPS plus was 1% above the league average offensively. So at the age of his career, especially in this ballpark, I don't think he's really an offensive force, not like he used to be anyway. I also do think that there's reasons to believe that he'll bounce back some. But the Cardinals will have and I'm going to play off something John Mozeliak was emphasizing yesterday. The Cardinals can have a really good offense if Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman become the hitters that the Cardinals believe they should be and they will be. So, but that doesn't mean that'll happen. I think so much of this depends on those two guys. Not everything, but a lot of it depends on those two guys, because they could be big difference makers if everything just falls into place for them and they avoid these peaks and valleys that they go through, and they become more consistent. They certainly have the talent to do that. But Goldie and Arenado last year, I mean, Goldschmidt was above average, but again, both of these guys are way down from where they were 2 years ago, and I think age-related decline is a big part of that, obviously.
Hey, Bernie, obviously the big news that Juan Soto just signed with the Mets in a 15-year, $765 million contract. And, of course, Shohei Ohtani with a contract over $700 million. Do you think within the next 10 years we'll see our first $1 billion contract?
The way things are going, yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, I can't make a prediction at this point, but of course, I mean, because it continues to escalate. And Steve Cohen, who grew up as a Mets fan, loves the Mets. He's also the wealthiest owner in baseball, and he has an estimated net worth of $21.5 billion. He'll continue to go grab players if he thinks he can win a World Series with them. So you have a few owners and you have a few franchises that will always be pushing the envelope on salary. So, yeah, I don't think we're all that far away from a $1 billion deal.
Crazy. It just
it
blows my mind. It feels like a joke. It feels like pretend money.
Well,
I mean,
when the Cardinals, let's go back in time. In February of 2004, the Cardinals signed Albert Pujols, who was then going into his age 25 season. They signed him to a 7-year deal worth $100 million. And that was a big, big, big deal. We were all gasping, right? And at that point, he was only the 9th player in the history of baseball to have a $100 million total contract. So let's fast forward to 2024 season. There were 16 players with contracts that were worth at least $260 million. 19 players with contracts were worth $260 million, and 16 of them had contracts worth $300 million or more. And one other thing that has changed during that time, and this is the part that people don't talk about enough, in my opinion, in 2005, when Pujols' deal went into effect, the average major league franchise had a value of $334 million. The average franchise value this past season was $2.4 billion. So the point being, this game has been very, 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 very good to the people that own franchises. And it's also been very good to the top end players.
Yeah, and as long as revenues continue to rise, then at some point we're going to get that $1 billion player. We were, sort of thinking about this, playing it out in the office today. My guess is the person who gets that $1 billion contract, we don't know their name yet.
That could be absolutely correct, right? It could be, yeah. That's a great way to put it. But he's out there somewhere, right?
Yeah,
because
if you look at the best players in the game right now, Bernie, they're all at that age where they're not going to get $1 billion deals.
Well, and that's what we were talking like that. Who would it be? We don't know his, like you said, we don't know his name yet, and we say 10 years. It could be 10 years. It could be 15. Either way, that person right now is pretty darn young.
No doubt about it. So good. we wish him the best, whoever he is.
He might
Hey,
be
maybe he'll be a
10 years-
Cardinal.
He might be 10 years old now, or maybe he's
What
15.
if what if the Cardinals are the first team ever to sign $1 billion player? That would really be something.
the Cardinal way?
Yeah, I guess I'll just withhold comment on that. Just kidding.
So no, the answer is that's not what it'll be. Blues are going to finish up their road trip tonight. They've been pretty good on it so far, and now that we've had a handful of games under Jim Montgomery, does it seem like a different team to you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's more offense. There are more players contributing offense. Their high-end players are doing more. They have cut down on goals allowed, I mean, dramatically since the coaching change. And I think their special teams are sharper. And listen, I know Jim Montgomery wasn't totally pleased, obviously, with the effort the other night in Edmonton. You know, he thought that they could have gone at it harder, but he thought the performance overall was about average. When you're on a 4-game road trip and you're playing some really good teams, I don't expect them to have like their A game every single night. And consistency will be the challenge going forward. But to me, the whole personality and identity of this team has evolved pretty quickly under Jim Montgomery. And I keep going back to the fact that he knows all those players because he coached with Craig Berube for 2 years when Kyrou and Thomas and many others, Parayko, were growing up in this league. So they know him, he knows them, and so he could get things going quicker maybe than had it been a stranger coming in here.
Bernie Miklasz, as always, we love hearing from you. We appreciate your time. We will talk to you on Thursday, end of the winter meetings, and maybe something will transpire between now and then. But before we say goodbye, tell us about our friends at Saliga.
I will, and thank you guys as always. Saliga Heating and Cooling is an independent American standard heating and air conditioning dealer. They have that top-of-the-line, industry-leading American standard heating and air conditioning equipment. And they have been serving St. Louis families since 1927 continuously. The Saligas, 4 generations of Saligas have been serving St. Louis families, generations of St. Louis families. And we're one of those families, and I can testify to how great they are. They do residential work that applies to us, of course, but commercial work, all makes and models. In addition to, in fixing things for you or solving a problem for you, they have a maintenance program called the Priority Club. We are members. We definitely are happy that we are members because they will make sure your heating's working as it should before the cold weather really hits. Same thing in the summer with the hot weather, making sure your air conditioning is working well. And if you're in this maintenance plan called the Priority Club, you get some extra perks too. Like you can jump the line a little bit in terms of appointments and things like that. And you will save money in the long run because in our experience with their maintenance program, they'll come out and, as I mentioned, check your system. And sometimes, doesn't happen often, but sometimes it happened with us. There's a small problem. There's a minor problem. They detect it early. They can fix it cheaply before it becomes something much bigger and much more expensive. So anyway, financing options are available subject to credit approval. Call them for free quotes. Go online to see all their services, and there are a lot at SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. If you're planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future, I know it can be stressful. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty knows selling and buying your next home at the same time can be tricky, especially in our area. This is Debbie Monterey, and if you need to sell and buy at the same time, this message is for you. Gloria Liu has several great options for her home sellers, including her Sell and Stay program that gets you the most money possible for your current home and then allows you to stay put until you find your next home. No more stress, worries, or hassles or settling. Gloria Liu makes selling your St. Louis area home easy, and she's been doing this for more than 21 years. So why risk working with an average realtor when you can work with the best. The name to remember is Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
This holiday season, the Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for their holiday food drive. While supplies last, stop by any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS holiday bumper sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details now about the campaign, or if you want to make an online donation, head to the KMOX.com events page now.
Last year, flu and COVID hospitalized nearly 1 million adults 65 and older. That's nearly 1 million men, women, parents, grandparents, chess players, checkers players, and chess players who are so bad at chess, they really should stick to checkers. So if you're one of these people, or not, get this season's flu and COVID vaccines so you can keep being the totally unique person you are, whoever that is.
Risk less, do more. Get started at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold for Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW, a family-owned dealership group that has been around for 50 years as a Toyota dealer and 25 years in O'Fallon, Illinois. So come see us. That's Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
The American Cancer Society calls upon Black women from all walks of life to join Voices of Black Women, a groundbreaking research study led by the American Cancer Society. Voices of Black Women is designed to better understand why and how cancer and other health conditions impact Black women. Go to voices.cancer.org.
I'm Megan Lynch. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow's glistening, a beautiful sight. We're happy tonight.
Did I win? Did I win?
You
our
did not win.
No price football pick'em.
No, sorry, dude. You came in second,
Okay.
along with Adam, our listener, Adam. You both got 5 correct in our no prize
Nice.
pick'em on Friday. It was Bruce. I almost called him Ben. Bruce Affleck.
Really?
St.
The
Louis
true blue.
Blues, yeah, St. Louis Blues alum, and he dominated,
Yeah.
just dominated. He only got one wrong.
Which
only
one
got
did
one
he get
wrong the
wrong?
whole-
Was it the Rams and Bills?
It was the Buffalo, L.A. Rams
Yeah.
game. Yes,
Yeah.
so you and
Rams
I
and
picked the Rams to win.
Mhm.
I don't know why I did it. Maybe it was a letdown after the Chiefs game or whatever.
Why
but
did I do that?
but he picked Buffalo, and it's not a bad pick. But Bruce Affleck knows his football, man.
He does. That guy, I'll tell you what, he's a treasure, St. Louis treasure. Quick question. I'm going to ask the question I ask every week. Are the Chiefs the worst 12-1 football team in history? They have to be, right?
I don't know about that.
Name
I doubt
a
it. I
worst
doubt
12-1
it because
team.
here's how you know they're going to be bad. All right. The Bears a few years ago were 5-1, I believe, at one point, or maybe 6-1, and it just felt like, okay, yeah, they're 6-1, but this isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find that out when it comes playoff time, and of course, they got
That's what
destroyed.
scares me. And I'm not trying to
But-
I'm not
but
trying to
here's why-
poo-poo the Chiefs though.
Here's why I don't think the Chiefs are, because my belief in them,
Mhm.
knowing the kind of team they are and knowing the quarterback they have,
Yeah.
my belief is they will figure it out when it matters. And that to me cannot possibly be the worst team that's 11-1 because they're
11-1.
I would be or 12-1. I would be stunned if they don't at least make it to the AFC Championship.
See, I think that's what scares me about how close all of these victories are. They have to do what you said, which is figure it out, or they may not get lucky.
To me,
you have to figure it out.
To me, all this has just been preseason. This has just been an extended preseason for them getting to the playoffs.
But it is kind of insane, right? Every victory coming in the last play, basically. It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
They haven't had a single blowout.
And there's been a lot of luck. But I'm telling you, when the playoffs start, they're just going to figure it out like they always do.
I bought a sweater for it. I bought a Chiefs sweater. It's a cardigan.
Well, I'll tell you, it annoys the hell out of me.
I know. That's why I bought the sweater. Wear it every day.
We're the home of the Chiefs, though, KMOX. You can listen to every
Incredible.
game here during the regular season on 1120, 98.7 FM. So we're going to need, since we dispatched of Adam, since Bruce Affleck dispatched of Adam, I came in last, by the way. I stunk. I got 3 of 8, right? I should just quit.
Is that the Bears record right now? 3-8?
No.
4-9.
4-9. Idiots. Okay. So we will need a new listener. So if you're interested in participating at 12:30 on Friday in the No Prize Pick'em Challenge, you can do that. You have to be available at 12:30 in the afternoon this Friday. If you're interested, send us a text message at 314-436-7900. Just tell us your first name and say, hey, I want to do it. And if you win, you'll get nothing. Oh, the Odyssey Blood Drive is coming up. Odyssey and the American Cross have teamed up for this. It is happening, the Holiday Heroes Blood Drive from December 17th through the 20th from 10 to 4 at each of the Red Cross locations throughout the area. We want you to go to redcrossblood.org/gifts, and that will help you find the location that is good, and then you can give a gift if you want to do that as well. So please do that. The Holiday Heroes Blood Drive, sponsored by us and the American Red Cross. We're going to talk to Sean Malone from the KMOX newsroom. A new lawsuit that has been filed by St. Louis City firefighters. It's an interesting case, and we're going to talk about it with Sean when we come back. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, write this number down or put it into your phone. 800-411-2215. The IRS is hiring more staff and cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to learn about our tax debt reduction programs and how to stop the collection efforts. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or years of unpaid taxes, even if you're already in a payment plan, we can help. Through special IRS programs, you may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a fraction of what you owe. Tax Relief Helpers has helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. No matter what amount you or your business owe to the IRS, call our tax relief hotline now for a free consultation and see what savings you may qualify for. Don't tackle the IRS on your own, and don't risk having your wages, Social Security, even your pension seized. Call now. Call 800-411-2215. That's 800-411-2215. 800-411-2215. 411-2215.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, and now is the time to do something about it. With Neovitin Women's Multivitamin, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Created by a St. Louis physician, Neovitin Women's Multivitamin is formulated with our proprietary blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Best of all, you can get Neovitin Women's Multivitamin delivered right to your door with our convenient monthly subscription. Go to neovitin.com and sign up for a subscription today.
Season's greetings. This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel, home of the industry's happiest financial advisors. For the second year in a row, J.D. Power ranks Stifel the #1 wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction. So, from our Stifel family to yours, we wish you a happy holiday season and much success in the year to come.
It is 12 noon in Mid-America. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got 39 degrees downtown at the Arch. Legal proceedings this afternoon for Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the United Healthcare CEO's killing. CBS News crime and public safety beat leader Anna Schechter has the details.
There are a couple of things that might happen. He could fight this extradition, which would delay his transfer to New York State by possibly even up to a month. Although I think there's so much public interest in this, officials are going to really try to push this quickly. Now, if he waives that, then he could be transported as soon as tonight to New York. Prosecutors in New York City have already filed murder charges against him.
An audit is released by St. Louis Public Schools after Superintendent Keisha Scarlett was fired in October.
Under Scarlett's leadership, SLPS went from a $17 million budget surplus to a $35 million deficit in just 1 year. The 47-page audit from SLPS shows hiring and salary increases were made without board approval by Scarlett. It also lists questionable charges on credit cards, totaling about $77,000, with a significant portion linked to the superintendent. As for the office culture under Scarlett, staff expressed concerns in the report about potential repercussions or retaliation for resisting directives. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
In November, Missouri voters approved an increase in the state's minimum wage and changes to paid sick leave requirements. Yesterday, a group of business associations filed the first legal challenge to the law, which was supposed to kick off on the first of the year. Dan Schall is executive state director of the Missouri Grocers Association.
We're asking the Supreme Court to take a look at the ballot language, the physical note that was associated with the ballot initiative, and making sure all that was within the confines of the law.
Schall says he doesn't think everybody knew the extent the ballot initiative would have on the general public. The KMOX business desk, fewer struggling with their mortgages.
There was a slight decline in the country's foreclosures. Adam is reporting there was a little over 29,000 properties with foreclosure filings, default notices, scheduled auctions, or bank repossessions. That's down 9% from a year ago and down 5% from the prior month. Kimberly Adams, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's down 37 points to 44,364.
We'll have a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon. It's going to be colder than recent days, a high of 43. Some clouds tonight, low 30. And a few morning flurries tomorrow, otherwise brisk and quite cold with some sunshine, high close to 40. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America Holiday Concerts. It's 38 degrees. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Get into the spirit of the season with free holiday concerts by the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America the first 2 weeks in December. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
Use both your KMOX presets when you're in the car. 98.7 FM near the city and 1120 AM further out. 2 buttons for KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you, and we bring in Sean Malone from the KMOX newsroom. Sean, you've been following this story with the St. Louis City Fire Department, and it feels a little confusing to me and at the same time very St. Louis, because right now there is a pause on all promotions in the St. Louis Fire Department, but then there are firefighters who have effectively been promoted because they're filling vacant roles in leadership, but they're not able to be officially been promoted.
That's it. They haven't been promoted. So for the full context on this, you have to go back to 2022. The St. Louis City Fire Department was told by then Public Safety Director Daniel Isom to stop promotions because he felt, in his opinion, that the leadership structure was too top heavy, which I have an understanding of how a fire department functions. My father was a New York City fireman for 22 years. There are national standards for these things. You have to have a captain per truck, a battalion chief per house, things of that nature. Like, this isn't just this fire department kind of pulled these numbers out of thin air to determine how many captains and battalion chiefs they wanted to have. But he put a stop to all promotions at that time, and there have not been any official promotions in the fire department since then. However, these roles still can't go without someone actually fulfilling the roles of being the captain for the fire department, for that fire truck, for example. So there are about, I think it's 17 people that have sued the city over back pay because they've been acting as the captain, as a captain in the firehouse for quite some time. Like I said, the last time they made a promotion was January of 2022, and they haven't gotten paid for it. So as a part of this lawsuit, a judge put in a temporary restraining order that says, okay, and it says, quote, existing vacancies. This is September 30th. This was put in. Any existing vacancies do not promote for when the new list is certified. They took a test this summer. Any day now, that list, promotional list will be certified. That's who they promote from. And the fire union interprets this as existing vacancies, which again, it says existing. It's explicit in that. Means anything that's being sued over at that time or predates it. So if Joe, the fireman, is filling the role of captain and the new list comes out, someone doesn't leapfrog him and take the captain's position that he's been working for the last 2 years. But the city is kind of taking a broad interpretation on this. The city councilor's office, it was confirmed to me that this is their interpretation from Director of Personnel Sonia Gray, that the city is saying, no, this includes all vacancies that could arise even after September 30th in the St. Louis City Fire Department until this legislation or this litigation is settled, which could be another couple, I've heard between 6 and 7 months from now. It may not finally go to a bench or jury trial until this coming summer. And right now, the St. Louis City Fire Department is dealing with quite a shortage in people filling vacant leadership roles in their true capacity, not an acting capacity. Out of the 20 battalion chief positions, 9 of them are vacant at this point. And amongst the captain's positions, about a fifth of the 110 or so positions are left vacant. One thing to keep in mind with that as well, there are probably more captains vacancies than that shows because a lot of those captains are the acting, quote unquote, battalion chief. So they're filling the void of the battalion chief, but they're not getting paid for it either, which means there are even more captains vacancies than those numbers that I had seen have shown. So there's quite a leadership vacancy in the fire departments that, the city is taking this broad interpretation from this lawsuit and for an indefinite period of time will continue to use this temporary restraining order to stop any and all promotions that predate September 30th or come after September 30th.
But why?
I'm not sure. I really can't understand why, because it's been a moving goalpost for a while with why these promotions have been stopped. I mentioned under Isom, it was, he thought it was too top heavy. There were too many people that were captains, battalion chiefs, what have you. And now that the new public safety director, Charles Coyle, he came in as the interim. He's now the permanent public safety director. He has testified in that hearing that he wants to see a new test. The test that they had been promoting off of is about 10 years old at this point. And he had testified that from this lawsuit, what he wants to see is a new test and a new list to promote off of. And that's why the city fire department's thinking was, okay, we have this test that was administered by the city during the summer. We're going to get a certified list any day now. And then that will be the new list of, John Fireman is now number 1 on the list. He scored higher than everyone. He'd be the first up to be promoted for a position of captain if one were to arise in, let's say, the coming weeks. But for some reason, the city is saying, no, we're interpreting this as all promotions. Now, maybe it's hard to get the city to comment on litigation, but perhaps it could be they don't want to overstep what they anticipate the judge is, or it could just be another moving goalpost where, for going on about 3 years now, the city has stood in the way of the fire department making promotions.
That's the question I was going to ask, is what the mayor has had to say about it, if anything, and how it would
I have not reached out to the mayor's office.
Okay.
I've spoken with Director Coyle, who simply said he hasn't gotten anything from Director of Personnel, Sonia Gray. And Director Sonia Gray just confirmed that the city councilor's office, if I were to reach out to the city and the mayor's office, I know the response I would get is they don't comment on litigation. So that's why I didn't reach out to them, because that's their longstanding position. Anything regarding litigation, they don't comment on. But I was able to finally get confirmation that this is their position within the litigation in terms of the hiring process. So I was able to get that from Director Sonia Gray, but Director of Public Safety, Charles Coyle, and I tried to even clarify, what do you need? Because this was early in the process when I asked him, what do you need from the Director of Personnel? So I could find out whether or not the Director of Personnel, maybe they say they tried to give it to Department of Public Safety, and all he would say is he hasn't gotten anything from the Department of Personnel, and that is it. He left it at that.
So as you mentioned, nearly half of all battalion chief positions and a fifth of all captains positions are currently vacant. And the lack of leadership or not being able to identify who is the captain, who's leading this team when you're putting out fires, you're going to an emergency, that can lead to chaos.
Yeah.
So if they are sticking to the letter of the law, like no promotions, even if this person is filling this leadership role in an interim way, or is assuming the role, we can't pay them more, we can't officially promote them, would the city say, yes, but you absolutely can hire someone from the outside to immediately step in this leadership role to fill this vacancy?
I'm not sure on that, or how that works.
Because it's not a
hiring from the
promotion.
outside. Yeah,
but you got to.
I'm not sure how that exactly
Okay.
works. That's something I didn't ask about with, the fire union or Director of Personnel, how that kind of, an outside hire would work in that process. But what I can say is I know that the fire department is similar to the police department, dealing with quite a shortage right now. Typical fireman, it's a part-time job for you in a perfect world. You're a fireman, you work a couple 24-hour shifts during the week, and then you have another side job where you do construction is very common with something like that. My dad did real estate appraising on the side because he got paid by job with that. And now there's so much overtime available because there's such a shortage within the fire department that firemen are in some instances working 6-7 days a week. And this is one of the reasons they point to is why they're having a shortage is people aren't getting promoted within the St. Louis City Fire Department for years now. At this point, you go back and there hasn't been a promotion since January of 2022 is the last time there has been a promotion to battalion chief or captain within the St. Louis City Fire Department. So they're saying the morale is some of the lowest it's been in over a decade at this point. And understandably so, if you're working in a job and, if you were to get a new position that you earned, and I'll get to earning it in a second, and we're just told like, yeah, you're getting all the increased responsibilities and pressures of this job, but none of the salary benefits that go along with it. And I mentioned earns. These tests, the promotional tests that these firemen take, they're not easy. These are, long form essay, vocal response tests where you got to basically answer a Q&A, and these firemen spend months at a time studying for these tests. I remember, I'm from the East Coast. I grew up in New York. My dad sitting in the dining room for 6-7 months at a time, his nose in a textbook and a workbook, teaching himself what he needs to know for the next promotional test that was coming up. This isn't something you can roll out of bed and take. You do that, you're going to bomb. You're going to finish towards the bottom of the list. Your name is never going to get called for a promotion by the time the next test rolls around.
Are these tests pretty standard from locality?
Yes. It's a national organization that kind of creates these tests. It's not someone sitting within the city of St. Louis that is, thinking of questions to ask these firemen and things like that.
So they're doing the work, they're doing the tests, they're getting themselves prepared, not getting compensated for the job.
No. And they're, in some cases, having to still do the job and not getting the compensation for it. And again, this has been going on for, as of next month, it'll be 3 years. And in an indefinite period of time, it will continue. Now, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. They're going back to court for that lawsuit that's filed by those who are filling in an acting role to try to clarify with the judge of, hey, can you make it clear whether or not when you say existing vacancies, you're just talking about the ones in the lawsuit, not any future vacancies that could arise. And they'll see if the judge will clarify or if he would amend the temporary restraining order to make it absolutely clear, yes, we are only holding those vacancies that are being sued over, that are being filled by these people in an acting capacity aside. But if, Jim, the captain at the fire department, were to retire next week, whoever finishes first on that list with that upcoming list that's about to be certified, that person can fill that role then, because that's outside of the lawsuit.
So when you say we're short, it leaves people vulnerable.
Yes.
So do we have an idea of just how vulnerable people who live in the city are if there is an emergency?
I mean, that's hard to quantify.
It's hard to,
in terms of like how vulnerable with
Right.
a number or something like that. But the two areas where I'll say that you would see noticeable vulnerability is the example I got from the Union Treasury Secretary Rodriguez, who told me that, if it's a situation where things take a bad turn, you got to find a leader and a snap. You don't have those colored helmets to know, oh, hey, this is the battalion chief. He's in command here. What are we doing here? What right now? That's one instance. But then it goes back to the other instance with the low morale and the low numbers across the board for the fire departments. I mentioned that a lot of these firemen, overtime is their second job. Now, instead of working, 2-3 days a week at the firehouse, you're pulling 6 days a week at the firehouse. You're making good money doing that. But if you have those summers where the stories always come up of, the fires are breaking out left and right across the city, it's exhausting for the firefighters because they've got all this gear on. They're fighting a blaze. And even outside of the fire, it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Now imagine, how exhausted a fireman feels doing that for 6 days in a row. And now that firefighter has to go and try to save someone. It's a physically exhausting, demanding job. And to do it day after day after day after day, that is a risk to public safety. There's a reason why in a perfect world, it's only supposed to be a handful of 24-hour shifts in a week you're supposed to be working and not a 5-day-a-week type of job.
And I know you'll continue to follow this story. Did you say you will be reaching out to the mayor's office?
I mean, I can reach out, but like I said, I know what their response is going
Yeah.
to be. They don't comment on litigation.
Yeah.
That's standard procedure within the city of St. Louis that they don't comment on litigation. But I will be following up. Monday is when they're supposed to have that hearing to try to amend the temporary restraining order to clarify, yes, this only pertains to the promotions that are being sued over or any promotions that predate September 30th. Any that would arise afterwards can be promoted. That's what the fire union is going to ask for. I'm not sure what the city's position is going to be on that.
Hopefully we'll talk to you Monday or Tuesday, depending on the time. Yeah.
I'd like to get an update. Keep us posted on it. You've got the coverage on 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, and KMOX.com. The story is there if you want to take a look at it. Sean Malone, thank you.
Thank you.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling,
renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. This month we are focusing on prostate cancer, and joining me is Dr. Vikas Prasad.
At the Siteman Cancer Center, you're taken in hand, right from the first stage of the diagnosis until even in the advanced stages, where we can sometimes offer you some very advanced level clinical trials.
Special thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details. Not sure how much you know about Progressive Insurance. You may know us for insuring your home and auto. You may know a couple of our commercials. But what you may not know is that since 2013, Progressive has been honoring veterans with vehicle donations through the annual Keys to Progress Veteran Vehicle Giveaway Program, giving back to those who gave so much. Now, you probably didn't wake up today saying, I really wish I knew more about Progressive Insurance, but this seemed like the type of thing people wouldn't mind hearing about. Find out more about how we're dedicated to our customers and communities at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey guys, this is Al Patroy with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and you're listening to The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Al Petrelli, friend of the show, and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming to Enterprise Center on December 18th. Who wants to go see him? Who wants to go?
I think caller number 6 does.
Caller number 6. You get to go see Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and here's the phone number. Don't call the regular number. It's not going to work. 314-955-1120. 314-955-1120. 955-1120.
Caller number 6.
Caller number 6. You're going to get to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
TSO, baby.
Oh,
Not
man.
good if you have epilepsy. I think that's what it is.
Really?
The flashing lights. I think they have a warning. Yeah.
Oh.
Because they do the light show. It's pretty
Well,
exciting.
it's most concerts.
It is most concerts. But I think with TSO, they've got a lot of flashing lights.
Oh,
I only
yeah.
remember that because my brother went years ago and he's like, it's intense.
Well,
It's the TSO. That's what they are. It's intense Christmas. Like,
so it's a circus.
do you like Christmas, but intense? Yeah. In striped, red and white tents. Hey, the headlines everywhere still on the United Healthcare CEO shooter. And Ranj, I was talking to you about that response online, and it seems to be very, very online. Those who are glad or don't care that this CEO was murdered. And like I said, you can absolutely be disgusted at and angry at some of United Healthcare's practices, the healthcare system in general, people not getting the help they need, not getting the coverage. Going about assassinating CEOs is not the way to express that frustration. But online searches, this is in the Washington Post, online searches for the word deny, defend, depose climbed immediately after it was discovered that those words were written on some of the bullet casings. Now, there's a book called Delay, Deny, Defend: Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It. And so because those words were written on the bullet casings, we don't know if it's exactly a correlation to, but I think it's not a stretch of the imagination to assume that this obviously deny, defend, depose had to do with insurance companies and the way they operate. But now on Amazon, t-shirts, wine tumblers, sweatshirts, baseball caps, and pint glasses with the phrases deny, defend, and depose were found on eBay, Etsy, TikTok, and Amazon. Now, the Washington Post said we don't know how much of this merchandise sold. So when the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, reached out to Amazon about these products that were on their site, Amazon actually took those products off.
Yeah.
They didn't respond to the Washington Post, but they took those products off.
And just to be clear, that not all of the products are sold directly by Amazon. There are people who have their own stores, and they can put up their own things on Amazon to be sold. So this is not; those were not items that Amazon themselves created and then went out and sold. So they took those down, and it does look like they're probably not the only company that's dealing with this. Of course, they're not the only company dealing with it, but
yeah, eBay, Etsy, TikTok.
They're all going, going to handle it appropriately. And yeah, I mean, look, there are all kinds of opportunists who will see something like this and say, yeah, I know there are some sickos out there who would love this merchandise. So we're going to put it out there and make a dime. And, when the fad passes, then whatever, but we've already made our money off it. I just don't, again, to reiterate what I said earlier, I just don't believe that the vast majority of people are living in the space of, I don't like the way insurance companies operate. They hurt people. They hurt families. So I want to kill the CEO of that company, and it's okay to do that. I just don't think that's where most people live.
On another angle, this murder, as we mentioned, apparently Chris Cuomo interviewed his former roommate. Someone else who worked with him said he is a genius, valedictorian of his class.
Yep.
That he never studied. He could just ace tests. He could read a book and remember what was in it. And he has an extensive online presence, whether it's on Twitter, where he, said he's an anti-capitalist, but also would retweet Tucker Carlson or Jonathan Haidt about the anxious generation, right? And the ills of modern technology like cell phones. But he was able to know exactly when Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, was going to get out of the car and walk by him. He was able to kill him in cold blood and then escape and get out of New York so quickly. And cops were saying this was like a professional job until
he had all the stuff on him, and it looked like he had the same coat or sweatshirt
and he had this manifesto, he had the gun, and he was eating inside a McDonald's. And he even had the fake ID that was used at the hostel. And did he want to get caught? Did he figure, I'm going to get caught and I want the evidence on me so someone else doesn't get pinned? Which I know sounds, why would I grant him that? Just from these interviews, people said, no, he cared about people. I'm like, well, he committed murder. It's weird that he got caught eating at McDonald's. Like, I would be a horrible thief, but I wouldn't eat at McDonald's.
It's just, I think it's strange that he still had the weapon. He had the manifesto with him. He didn't grow a beard and then shave it. That's what Richard Kimball did. But then again, he was innocent. Dramatic. Hey, congratulations to Aaron from a nondescript location. Aaron has won the tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra December 18th. Hey, don't worry. You'll have an opportunity tomorrow and Thursday and Friday to win again on the Chris and Amy Show. When we come back, we'll talk with Anthony Anderson, actor and comedian, who will talk to us about his type 2 diabetes diagnosis and living with it and what you need to know. And we'll talk about his projects as well. That's next on KMOX.
For eligible individuals 18 and older with self-perceived mild to moderate hearing loss only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
Life without hearing aids can be frustrating.
Andy, did you hear what she just said?
No, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
I said I got the promotion that
I thought you would be excited.
You're missing out on the important moments of your life because you just can't hear them. It's time to try the Jabra Enhanced Select 500, our smallest, most advanced hearing aid. With proprietary speech clarity technology, even the most complex listening situations like a noisy restaurant are crisp and clear. And you can get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional care you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. Get Jabra Enhance over-the-counter hearing aids and stop missing the important moments. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/radio. That's JABRA Enhance.com/radio. JabraEnhance.com/radio.
The best things never change, they just get better. Like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Choose from juicy charbroiled double cheeseburgers, melty hot ham and cheeses, or hand-breaded chicken tender wraps. 2 full-size favorites plus fries and a drink, all just $6.99. There's no skimping in this bag. No junior burgers or tiny nuggies, just full-size goodness for big-time value. The $6.99 Original Bag, only at Hardee's. These items only, tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
At 12:30, it is 40 degrees downtown at the Arch. Legal proceedings against Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the United Healthcare CEO's murder, start this afternoon in Pennsylvania, where he was arrested yesterday. CBS News crime and public safety beat leader Anna Schechter reports on his interactions with law enforcement so far.
He stopped cooperating, police said last night when they were questioning him. Initially, he had been responsive. When they picked him up at that McDonald's yesterday, he did not fight the arrest. He appeared very nervous as soon as they asked whether he'd been in New York recently.
We've got a disabled vehicle, 6440 going west at Clarkson on the right shoulder and 270 going north at 44 on the right shoulder. Forecast is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. High today, 43 degrees. For tonight, partly cloudy, low of about 30. For tomorrow, start off with some flurries in the morning. High temperature at 40, but real feel temperatures are going to be in the 20s. Right now, it's 40 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
But my lips are turning blue. Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late at night.
You are my hero.
They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Hey, it's Matt Pauley. All week, join me, Mike Claiborne, and Ricky Horton, as we are live in Dallas for baseball's winter meetings. It's a pivotal moment for the Cardinals as they go through a reset, and it could be an active winter meetings for the club. We'll be there to react to any move the Cardinals might make while bringing you exclusive comments from club leadership on air, online, and on social media. KMOX live in Dallas for baseball's winter meetings. Brought to you by Goodwill. Give local, give hope, give Goodwill.
This year, Christmas meets the Beatles. You're invited to Let It Be Christmas, the rock opera that tells the Christmas story entirely with classic Beatles songs. It's a St. Louis holiday tradition, now in its 15th season. Yes, here comes the fun. Performances are December 19, 20, and 21 at the beautiful Kirkwood Performing Arts Center. Let It Be Christmas, the gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Tickets available now at MetroTix or the K-Pac box office.
The off-season heats up, and KMOX is your exclusive home for Cardinals coverage. This week, all eyes are on Dallas for the MLB winter meetings, and KMOX is the station bringing Cardinal fans every breaking story. And Matt Pauley is live, reporting directly from Dallas.
I'll keep you connected with exclusive updates on KMOX, Sports Open Line each night 6 to 8, plus live episodes of the Gas House Gang at noon on the KMOX Sports Twitter and YouTube channels.
Cardinals baseball. There's only one station that delivers. KMOX, the voice of the Cardinals.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cardinals broadcaster John Rooney, wishing you a very happy holiday season.
Happy holidays from KMOX.
It is the Chris and Amy Show. Amy Markscore's Chris Ranji. Time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line. And joining us today is Emmy Award-nominated actor and comedian Anthony Anderson, who joins us on KMOX. How's it going, Anthony?
It's going well, Chris. Amy, how are you guys today?
We're doing pretty well. We're excited to be talking to you. So thank you for your time this morning. And how are things going for you? You just had, I know we want to talk, there are several topics we want to get to, but last night you just bared it all to raise awareness for cancer on The Real Full Monty. How are you feeling after that aired?
I'm feeling great. You know, the hard part was already done. You know, getting butt naked on stage in front of 500 or 600 people live, and now showing it to the world. But it was a great show to do to bring awareness to testicular, prostate, and colorectal cancer for men in particular. And to have a great group of guys and Taye Diggs, Bruno Tonioli, Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs, James Vanderbeek, and Tyler Posey, for us to get up there and literally bear it all, get over our ego, get out of our own way, and let the world know that if we can stand on stage butt naked in front of people, the least you can do is go to the doctor and get a checkup. So I think that's a fair trade. You seeing my booty to go get yours checked out by the doctor. I think that's a fair trade.
I mean, it's more than fair, right? You bared your booty in front of the live audience, and then again, like, oh no, I forgot this hasn't aired yet. You air it to the nation. It's the least people can do. At least make sure their doctors check them out.
Exactly, and it did make me feel comfortable that my mother wanted a front row center seat.
Actually, that would be
the show.
I'd rather it be complete strangers.
Yeah, of course, my mother saw it first.
Right.
She's my mama. She gave birth to it. But, for her to see me as an adult up there. But then I realized she wasn't there looking at me. She was there looking at Taye Diggs.
Well, that's the real realization. You're absolutely right.
She affectionately always calls Brown Sugar every time she brings it up. Hey, baby, you talked to Brown Sugar lately? I was like, Mama, who the hell are you talking about? Oh, Taye Diggs. Yeah, I talked to him, Mama. He's doing good.
You know what's funny? Several years ago, one day I go to my Twitter account and Taye Diggs has followed me.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh my God, Taye Diggs follows me. And then I realized he followed everybody. So I was excited for a minute. now I'm not excited because it's just, oh, damn, I'm one of them. I'm one of like 8 million people. So we do want to talk about your type 2 diabetes that you are living with. But I wanted to ask you because you're in the show Blackish, very, very popular. You were in the show Me, Myself, and Irene, or the movie Me, Myself, and Irene. And I just saw recently that a lot of the lines that you did, and you have a couple of brothers, there are 3 of you that are Jim Carrey's sons in the movie. And I had read recently that most of that was ad-libbed. Is that true?
A lot of it was. The Farrelly brothers, gave us license to have some fun and set up some scenarios for us and threw one-liners at us to have fun. And there's a scene in there between Jim Carrey and the 3 boys, where he's going to work for the day. And, Jim Carrey just improv. I was like, kisses. And, we all followed suit and, just gave him a kiss. And, so we had fun like that on set.
That's awesome. Well, Anthony, as Ranj mentioned, you were diagnosed with and live with type 2 diabetes. And I think a lot of people could get a diagnosis like that and maybe just quietly deal with it on their own. But you've become very outspoken and an advocate. What motivated you to do that and why?
Diabetes disproportionately affects the African American community more so than any other community out there. 2, African American men have it hard as well. And 3, I lost my father to complications from diabetes because he was never diagnosed with it until late in life. And we found out that he had diabetes close to 25 years before he was diagnosed with it. I was the first person in my family to be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and then my mom. And then I look at my symptoms, and it immediately took me to my childhood. It was like, this is what my dad was going through. So, at our urging, he finally went to the doctor and was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. And we subsequently lost him, a few years later to complications from diabetes. So that's why I'm so adamant about, sharing my story, giving my testimony about it, and speaking to the African American community in general, and in particular African American men. And that's why I partnered with Novo Nordisk, and that's why we came up with our Get Real About Diabetes campaign, and have everybody going to our website, getrealaboutdiabetes.com, to get the information that they need for questions that they may have, and also to get encouragement to go to the doctor and get checkups, to just check their well-being and their health, to make sure that everything is operating the way that it should.
That's probably the biggest challenge, isn't it? To get some. There are certain people that just don't want to go to the doctor ever. They feel like something might be wrong, but they're not really sure. They don't want to deal with it, so they just put it off. That is the biggest challenge, is to get people checked out, isn't it?
It is. It is. A lot of people don't want to get the bad news. I think something's wrong with me. Well, go to the doctor. Nah, I don't want to know what's wrong with me. Well, no, that's not a good way of looking at it. But men, we rarely go to the doctor. Yeah. We have to have an appendage falling off before we go to the doctor, because we feel that we can thug through anything. I really am out here speaking to men, African American men in particular. Go to the doctor, get a checkup. We change the oil in our car every 3,000 miles. Why don't we have appointments for us to go to our doctor to make sure that, our internal oil doesn't need to be changed, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to put it. And I know you're on a tight schedule. So before we let you go, thank you for sharing. And also, you partnered with our fellow St. Louisan, Cedric the Entertainer, to make a barbecue label, AC Barbecue. So that's pretty awesome that we feel proud it has those St. Louis ties.
Oh, yeah. We have AC Barbecue. It's going pretty strong. We're in 2,400 Walmarts. Awesome. We're in 1,400 Lowe's stores. We're in HEBs in Texas. We're now just closing a deal with Kroger. We are going to have a collaboration with Arby's, and they're introducing 2 new sandwiches, and they're going to use our sauces on it. So Cedric and I started this almost 2 years ago, and we have kitchens on the campus, on 7 different campuses throughout the country, colleges and universities, University of Cincinnati, Jackson State University, and 5 other institutions. And also, we talk about it. I also made a point that when we made our sauces, that, we weren't using artificial sweeteners. So,
nice.
We're getting our sweetness from natural sources, agave and dates and things like that. So we made it a point, or I made it a point, that I wanted this to be as healthy as we could possibly make it. Because I love barbecue, Ced loves barbecue, and the business is going well.
That's awesome, man. We really appreciate your time today, and we wish you luck in that endeavor. Also with the website, excuse me, that you mentioned, getrealaboutdiabetes.com. We want people to go to that as well. Anthony Anderson, thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on today. You have a wonderful afternoon.
You too. That is actor Anthony Anderson with us here on KMOX. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. We'll be back with more. It's true. Tay Diggs followed me, and then I realized, he follows like 8 million people.
So just like Fred Bird, you're not special. I mean, that sounds rude. I mean, I'm not saying you're not special. I'm just saying.
No, it's true.
To Tay Diggs and Fred Bird, you're not special.
I thought when I was a kid, I was the only person who Fred Bird bit their head.
Yeah, because Fred Bird bit your head.
He bit my head, and I have a photo. He came to Granite City to Taco Lay, and he bit my head.
And you felt special.
And I'm like, wow, Fred Bird bit my head, but he does that to everybody.
I'm sorry. One day you'll find someone who loves just you.
Matt Pajeski. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
I don't care about
When you retire, the paycheck from your job will likely stop. But here's what won't stop: bills, taxes, and medical issues. Sure, there's Social Security, but that may not be enough. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can show you potential ways to develop a new stream of income that can last as long as you live. Kind of like having your own personal pension. You won't have to worry about whether the market is up or down or who's sitting in the White House. You can spend your time instead on the things that matter, like family, friends, and doing the things you never had time to do before. Call Steve All today at 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 and schedule a custom income review at no charge. Or find us online at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
The Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for our holiday food drive. The show will be out at Hardee's in St. Peter's on Friday, December 20th, starting at 1 p.m. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. The Dave Glover Show, live at Hardee's in St. Peter's. Get all the details about the campaign or to make an online donation, head to the KMOX.com events page now.
Last year, flu and COVID hospitalized nearly 1 million adults 65 and older. That's nearly 1 million men, women, parents, grandparents, chess players, checkers players, and chess players who are so bad at chess, they really should stick to checkers. So if you're one of these people, or not, get this season's flu and COVID vaccines so you can keep being the totally unique person you are, whoever that is.
Risk less, do more. Get started at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at LifeMD.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com to get your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility in minutes. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I had gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now with your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility for coverage in minutes at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
Tune into the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at 11 a.m. or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and I see more clearly thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Make your appointment today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW. I am so confident that my team will take care of every one of your service and sales needs. I'll give you my cell phone, 618-791-5470. Newbold Toyota or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
I'm Kevin Wheeler. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Homer Simpson, Sector 17 Nuclear Power Plant.
Mo Sislak, Shelbyville Dog Training Academy.
Bart Simpson, University of South Melbourne, also known as You Smell.
There's a new way to watch football now, Amy, if you like cartoons. Maybe you saw it was the NFC Championship. I'm not exactly sure which one it was from a few years ago. They did the Nickelodeon broadcast. And then recently they did the Toy Story broadcast, so an alternate broadcast. Well, last night on Monday Night Football, they did the Simpsons Fun Day broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So they incorporated all the Simpsons characters into it. And they had a whole separate... so you're watching the game, and it looked like a cartoon, but it was doing everything that was happening on the field.
That's so weird.
It is.
How long did you watch it for? Or how long
just a few minutes.
How long could you watch it?
I mean, you could watch the whole thing, I guess. I watched a lot of the Nickelodeon broadcast, but that was just they did slime and stuff.
Okay, I don't have a strong feeling either way. It's not like Kevin Wheeler and Hot Frosty or whatever that movie is about the snowman that comes to life and he's super sexy. I don't have strong feelings like that, but I ask this genuinely. So what's the point?
For kids.
Is
It's
it
for kids.
Do kids watch The Simpsons?
No, but dads do. And I could see dad watching football with the kid with that separate broadcast and them being into it because it's animated.
So I'm being completely honest here. My experience with kids, 8, 9, 10, and even younger, they like real football. Is this to get kids who don't like football?
Probably like 4 or 5-year-olds. Probably like really
so that
young.
way the dads can watch the game and the kids think they're watching a cartoon.
Sure.
So it's to trick the kids. Because if you're 6,
Yeah,
7,
you
8, 9, 10, they like the real game. I mean, they love the real players.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
they're not watching cartoon football.
It's a gateway. You get them into the game when they're really super young and maybe they don't quite know what's going on, but they know there's animation on the screen.
Okay, I mean, I can see it. If it's like 4 years old and they think they're watching a cartoon because now these kids, they liked real baseball, but backyard baseball. Did you play backyard baseball, Matt Pajeski? You're the right age.
No, I did not.
You did not. Okay, well, you are the perfect age. It was for people who are now in their early to mid-20s. Backyard baseball was the jam. And it was little cartoon figures, right? And it was, this is how old it was. It was a computer game when you had to have the CD, right? The CD-ROM, the drive to put it in. And they brought it back, I think, because people were freaking out that it was back. But I guess, a backyard baseball type feel. It's still, I mean, like I said, I don't have strong feelings. It's interesting.
Here's what I'll say about the NFL. They are, even though they absolutely dominate everything already in this country, they keep trying to find new ways to gain market share.
You got to keep growing. Growth mindset, baby.
They are never complacent.
You got to have a growth mindset.
They're not like, hey, we're a $15-16 billion a year industry. Easy. We dominate every broadcast throughout the course of the year. We're good. We'll just keep doing what they don't. They find new ways to reach new people, whether it's playing in Germany, playing in London, catering to kids. They are. That is I cannot imagine a time in my lifetime where the NFL doesn't absolutely dominate everything.
If you do, and it's in, how old are you? You're
47.
So you could live to 97.
Another 50 years.
Yeah. So maybe in 50 years, something's changed.
What could
but I don't know.
possibly change it? A new sport taken over, MLS?
I don't know. Something would happen with CTE or people like it would have to start from the bottom where parents don't want their kids playing. I don't see that happening really, but that would be maybe the only realistic thing as you continue to see head injuries because players are getting hurt. They've always gotten hurt, but I do feel like with new equipment and players being bigger and stronger than ever, if the equipment continues to give you the permission to play the way they play, and players keep getting bigger and stronger, it might get to a point where fewer and fewer parents want young kids to play.
No, that's
the only way.
That's already happening. But
the critical mass is still playing.
The problem,
the critical mass is still playing of people.
I don't know if I want to call it a problem because it's not. If you like football, it's certainly not a problem. But there are just areas of the country where culturally it is everything, and trying to get it out of the bloodstream would be nearly impossible.
Really hard.
no matter what they learn about it, no matter what they learn about, head trauma, and that's this. Football is so big in the South, for
It's so big.
example.
Well,
the Southeast, it is huge. It's huge in California, huge in the Northeast.
so, and that's why it wouldn't be, you wouldn't have one single explanation. It would have to be a confluence of that critical mass of new players, right, from all over the country, where it starts to shrink to strongholds of football, to those are the only places producing new players. And then there would have to be like a corresponding like stigma to sports that induce so much injury, where people just aren't watching it the way they used to.
Well, the one thing that could do it is there's always going to be a large talent pool of people that will want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's part of what the NFL is doing, where they're expanding to other countries, hoping they could start to get talent, real talent from England and from Germany and from, Brazil, from these other countries, because Americans maybe will not play as much. So to keep the talent pool as large as it is, you expand other nations.
And I'm not saying I think or want this to happen. I love football. I'm just saying if I had to create a scenario where football is not the behemoth that it is, that's the only thing I can think of.
That's Amy Marks Course. I'm Chris Ranji. Oh, it looks like Nelly's going on a world tour.
Yeah.
So far, no St. Louis date.
Huh.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
All right.
We'll see if maybe he figures it out and comes to St. Louis. My guess is they will figure it out.
Yeah.
That's Amy Marks Course. I'm Chris Ranji. We are back with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Anything you missed is on the Odyssey app. Download it for free and listen to the podcasts. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
So there are hundreds of optometrists and ophthalmologists in St. Louis, St. Charles, all over, right? Illinois, wherever you might want to go, wherever you live. So how do you know who to call? How do you know where to go? How do you know who is the best? Well, easy. I can tell you the best eye doctors with all of the latest techniques, all of the latest technology for your problems with your sight are the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. That's why we all endorse them daily. It's why we all see the Ophthalmology Associates. Ranj sees Dr. Malhotra. I see Dr. Birdie, and you can see them as well today. Call 314-966-5000. They are called the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates because they see over 250 physicians and doctors. That's more than any other practice in the area. Doctors Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Brusati, Dr. Andy Royer, and Dr. Samuel Berry. Call them today, 314-966-5000, youridoc.com.
Tom Ackerman here with Pat Buring, Regional President of Busey Bank. Our building community